From the far corners of the fandom universe, representing film, comics, and anime. From the far corners of the fandom universe, representing film, comics, and anime, sci-fi, fantasy, and cosplay, they come together for one cause: to geek out. They are the Council of the Blerds. Blerd powers unite. From the far corners of the fandom universe, representing film, comics, and anime, sci-fi, fantasy, and cosplay, they come together for one cause: to geek out. They are the Council of the Blerds. Blerd powers unite. Engage.
Get that. I'm up. Yeah, everyone can hear everything, right? All right. All right, but I'm coming in clear. You're coming in clear. Everyone's coming in clear, right? All right. Oh, okay. All right. We'll just chalk that up to Thanksgiving. I don't know, itis or some stuff. I don't know. Yeah. So. In any case, okay, you can hear us. All right, we're good to go. Well, we're gonna get it together at one point. We're gonna get it together one day. So. Yeah. So. Yeah. So there we go. All right. So cool. So. Yeah. I just did it, so it should be showing up. Like, hopefully, it'll show up in like a minute or so. Right. So, in any case, what is going on, folks? Welcome to the Council of the Blerds, a GeekCast where we cover all geek and nerd-related news, announcements, and delve deep into the subjects that affect the Blerd community. I'm, of course, your host, Kendrick Grey, the Dreadlock Blerd, and joining us today is Tim McCoy, a.k.a. Enigma's Girl. Say what's up. Also joining us today is Harold B. Gibson, a.k.a. the leader of the X Zone. Say what's up. Yes, that is him. He is the voice, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we are two down right now, but one will be joining us later. Katanni Bramhan, aka Dark Angel 29. She will be joining us later. Harold is, of course, not Harold. Matthew is with family because it's Thanksgiving. And oh, by the way, happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody out there who's watching. I hope you guys ate as much as you wanted to. We have a good amount of leftovers here at my house, so needless to say, there'll be good lunch material for the week. But oh wow, okay. But like I said, Matthew, he's with his family right now. They're traveling, so they're probably traveling back home. So hopefully he'll try to chime in when he gets a chance. But Katanni will be joining us a little bit later. But as I said, welcome back to episode 4. I know it seems like we haven't been on here forever, but this month was kind of crazy. So hopefully next month we should be back to a regular schedule, which means we'll be back on Saturdays as opposed to Sundays. We want to give everybody a day. Probably would have did this yesterday, but we want to give everybody a day to just chill out because, with Thanksgiving, there's a lot of things going on. You'll have to excuse my cough. I've been trying to fight this mess for 2 weeks so far, and this thing doesn't want to go away. So I'll try to keep the coughing down to a minimum. In any case, oh yeah, that's right. Yours is gone. Congratulations. Yeah. That is crazy. That is crazy. Before we get into our show, I just want to say that you can find us here on YouTube, whether it be my YouTube channel, which is Kenimation Studios, or you can check out Matthew's channel, even though he's not here right now. This is also streaming through our Facebook page. I will eventually work it so it will stream through our actual Council of the Blerds Facebook page. We actually started one up. If you guys are on Facebook, please go to that page and like it, follow us. There you can be a little bit more. You can be a little bit more interactive with us on our Facebook page than you are here because we only come here every other week. Exactly. The Discord. Who? Yes. So anytime. So basically, what's going to happen is anytime we put out an assignment like we did last week, you'll be able to share it with us on our Facebook page. So definitely do yourself a favor, go to our Facebook page and hit the thumbs up, follow us. We keep you guys more of abreast of what's going on through that than we do here, because here it's just discussion. But here, anything you need to know about what's going on, I mean, even if we have to change a date of our next GeekCast, you'll find it there. That's when you'll know. So that way you can keep up to date with all of us. So be sure to do that, and also be sure to check out all our podcast distributors. Again, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, we're on Stitcher, we're on Breaker Radio, we're on Radio Player Radio. We're on a good amount of podcast streaming services. So, and like always, the audio for this will always be up later on in the week. So if you can't watch the video, again, shame on you if you can't watch the video, because it's literally right here on YouTube. So, but if you cannot catch the video, you can always catch the audio. Even if you're driving and you can't watch the video because you're driving, so you can't watch the video, you can listen to the audio. So again, exactly. But all that being said, let's just jump right into the show. And of course, our show always starts with a news rundown. The one I have on top is, of course, the passing of Stan Lee. We've already done our GeekCast, honoring and remembering him. They did have a small funeral, which I'm not really too surprised about. I'm pretty sure that was probably his wishes to have a small ceremony for him. None of the cast members of exactly. Exactly. One thing I will say though that I thought was interesting, and I probably shouldn't be giving this thing any energy, is the words of Bill Maher that he spoke. I think on the last episode of whatever the name of his daggone show is, I'm forgetting it, but yeah. I think Real Time with Bill Maher, and he basically had a lot to say, so to speak, about the passing of Bill Maher and how he feels that basically the comic book community don't want to misquote him, but he essentially said that people shouldn't be holding. He kind of basically said that people shouldn't be holding a person like Stan Lee in such high regard because all he did was, create comic books. And excuse me, I posted up on my Facebook page saying that everything that he said practically offends me, not as just a comic book fan, but as a reader, a collector, someone who's trying to get into the creative or the content creating industry, someone who's writing, working on stunts, doing videos for YouTube. For him to say things like that about someone who's done such a great deal in the comic book industry is very egregious, and it's like, he went on Larry King to basically, as they said, double down and talk about how, that those of us who are in the uproar about the things he said are proving his point, but he's failing to realize that he's proving our point also. And this is one of the main reasons why the Council of the Blerds was created, as to be a haven for people who don't necessarily have a voice in regards to the things they like that are considered childish or geeky. He's basically, yeah. Curling. Yeah, curling. Yep. Absolutely correct. And yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I like the guy that I get my comic books from. Shout out to Jeff Beck, who hooks me up with my comic books at Eastside Magazine, Montclair, New Jersey. Shameless plug. Um, he said one thing. Um, kind of like he usually has like mannequins with costume mannequins out in the front usually. It's on I want to say South Fullerton Avenue in Montclair, right by Church Street. It's right by Church Street, yeah. But he kind of pretty much said the same thing you said, Harold. And a lot of people have come out and said it. I know Kevin Smith has said something. He said it about and it's basically what you're saying is correct. It's like, don't feed the troll, because what Bill Maher is saying is no different from what people say about video games. Like how they're deemed to be childish. I'm like, and then the one thing I always go back to is like, you do realize that there are adults making these things, right? If the adults didn't enjoy what they were doing, a lot of these products would suck. You know, that's ultimately what it comes down to. So, and the crazy part is, I normally ride with Bill Maher. A lot of things what he says about about politics and the government are usually right up my alley, But this one right here, you're like, yeah, it was way out of left field, and it's just something like, I figured like for it to come from somebody like him took me by surprise, and like I said in the Facebook post, like this those kind of words like really offended me, and I don't get offended that often, but as a person who relatively grew up with comic books, grew up around the comic book genre, like of superheroes, Batman, Captain America, Superman, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is probably the one character that majority of us can relate to. He's a person with superpowers, but he is still struggling in his everyday life. That's literally almost all of us right now. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on this whole Bill Maher thing, but it's just like, at the end of the day, like you said, whether he did it to get a rise out of people, just to, boost ratings or, bring attention to himself, the fact of the matter is he was wrong for what he said, and eventually it'll probably come back to bite him in the butt at some point. So, it is what it is. Moving on from that, but again, also before we move on, I just want to say once again, rest in peace to Stan Lee. Thank you so much for everything you've done for not only the comic book community, but just for the content creator community, just in general, just everything you've done. So, and I hope him and his wife are having a grand old time up there. That's all I can say. Um, Moving on, this month is practically over. So that means within the first weekend, we got the big Arrowverse crossover Elseworlds. They've dropped a few of the teaser trailers. We had the first one, which was the Arrow one, where he's living with Iris West, and he can't seem to figure out what's going on. The second one, of course, was the one where Barry Allen is training with Diggle, and he realizes that he's somehow the Green Arrow. The third one was I thought was interesting. It was Kara, who was locked up in Star Labs, and Alex was in charge of keeping her there. So I thought that was interesting too. So it looks like the dynamic is Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl are aware that they're in a place that they're not supposed to be in, but nobody else realizes it. So I think that's going to be very interesting. And then the last one we got, which was a Batwoman, which I thought was fantastic. Ruby Rose looks awesome in her Batwoman outfit. She looks great, and I can't wait for it. Yeah. So, yes. Mm. Yeah. Because like I know, last season of Arrow, we got the Bruce Wayne name drop from Oliver Queen. We got that, so it was just like I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they were just slowly building up to the possibility of Batman existing in this universe, or just existing in the Arrowverse in general. I can't wait to see how they explain why he's not there. I still have a video to edit where I give my theories on why we have a black suit Superman. That should be out sometime this week. I gotta just sit down and put all the things together. But I don't know. I've enjoyed all the crossovers up until this point, but for some reason I just think this one is gonna really is just going to blow everything out the water. Because as far as it stands, Crisis on Earth X is still the best one. Crisis on Earth X is still the best one, but Outworlds might do what the DC Cinematic Universe couldn't do. That's really what I think. That's really what I think. I really think so. But in any case, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get like a full-on trailer, probably sometime this week. Like maybe a full-on trailer for all of them, and then because it starts on the 8th, I believe. The crossover starts on December 8th with Flash, and then Arrow, and then ends off with Supergirl. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to watch them all as one big movie or just watch each episode as they, premiere. I'm gonna mull it over this week and see what I want to do, but either way, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Speaking. Yeah. Exactly. Um, Speaking of the Arrowverse, it was just announced who they're going to be, who they casted as Lex Luthor for Supergirl. I thought it was an interesting choice that they chose John Cryer to play Lex Luthor for the Arrowverse. As we all know, John Cryer, who is really known for playing Alan Harper on Two and a Half Men. He was very big during the John Landis days of teen movies back in the '80s. But as far as it stands, everyone seems to have faith in him. Michael Rosenbaum even tweeted out that he hopes that he crushes it. Kevin Smith has said that fans are not going to be disappointed by his portrayal of Lex Luthor. I'm just very interested to see how it's going to play out. I mean, I would have hoped that they had brought Michael Rosenbaum back, but it is what it is. So, needless to say, exactly. Needless to say, I'll be interested to see how John Cryer does. Um, you know, so far Supergirl's been pretty good this season. A lot of the Arrowverse shows have been pretty good this season. Although I don't really know what they're doing with Legends of Tomorrow. It just seems like they're just trying anything out. I'm still rolling with it, but I kind of hope it doesn't get canceled because Legends of Tomorrow does have a lot of potential to be a really good series. Because they're really not bound to the rules of like Supergirl, Arrow, or Flash. They're not bound to it. Much like Black Lightning isn't really bound to the rules of the other Arrowverse shows. So, I mean, yeah, yeah. I know Matthew. I know he would probably be okay with it being canceled, but like, I think, I think, I honestly think that it still has some fight left in it. So I'm hoping, with John Constantine being on it now, I hope they you know, just do whatever they can to just keep it fresh and keep it going. So exactly, yeah, hmm yeah, hmm yeah, hmm yeah. hmm I mean, I was a diehard Hero fan. Eventually over time I realized that it definitely started to drop in quality. I know season 2 got hit hardest because of the writer's strike, so they kind of had to cut the season short and make a few changes. I thought they came back a little bit strong on season 3 of Villains. I thought they were doing pretty okay, but after a while, even the newest one, Heroes Reborn, it didn't really feel the same like the old Heroes. So I gave it a shot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mhm. No, so I mean, I actually would have done okay if they had just done if they had did like a tie-in movie to just wrap everything up. Because the way season 4 ended, it was like, oh man, what are they gonna do? And then you find out it's canceled. Like, oh crap, that sucks. I think then would have been a good time to do like a tie-in wrap-up movie and just be done. Be done with it. Exactly. Exactly. It's just like that. And it's funny because speaking of which, as we're talking about these shows, Agents of Shield was already renewed for a 7th season, and season 6 hasn't even premiered yet. One day, I keep saying this to Tani. I said one day I'm just gonna sit and watch the whole entire series. I'm just gonna go with. I'm just gonna go with it and just because, like I said, I gave it the first 2 episodes, and I was like, nope, can't do it. I just can't do it. like like it it's gonna have to be a thing where it's like I'm just gonna have to grin and bear it, and I just gotta go through it. So, but no, I'm gonna go through the whole thing. Just for context purposes, I'm gonna go through the whole thing, and hopefully, yeah. I hope I survive. I hope I survive, and just go from there. Just. Yeah, yeah. So, so exactly. I'll probably need a lot of candy thinking about it now, just to get through it. So I'll probably, maybe, I don't know. I might make that a summer thing to do, or maybe Christmas. Maybe I'll start Christmas break. Yeah, maybe Christmas break I'll start it. Maybe I'll try to knock out a season a day. I don't know. Maybe I gotta figure that out. But it'll get done. It'll get done. I will get through Ages of Steel, even if it kills me. Yeah, yeah. I'll even do a review. I'll probably do like a very long review of each season in one video. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. Um, Speaking of series, it was announced that the guy who's behind the Castlevania series on Netflix, I think is Adi Shankar. He is going to be working. He's going to be working on a Devil May Cry series now for Netflix too, which is in turn, which is in turn going to create, which is in turn going to create like a video game universe for Netflix. I think that's going to be I think that's going to be really dope. I remember the Devil May Cry anime that came out. I thought that was pretty cool, but a series is the best way to go. I haven't now. I will admit, I haven't started watching Castlevania, but it looks great. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be animated. I first thought it was going to be like a live action, but I think it's going to be animated. As far as I know, it's going to be animated. it's funny because yeah. You know what? Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. The action scenes would be great. Damn, now I want a live action version of it. All right, real quick, who would you cast as Dante in a live action? Wow, what you thinking? Uh, 10 years 10 years ago, I would have said Christian Bale, but only because like Dante's gunfighting style is very reminiscent of Christian Bale's gunfighting style in Equilibrium. So that's what drew me to that in the first place. But now, I don't know. We got a lot of young actors out there that could probably do this. Probably, yeah, yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. So actually, yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Oh yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yep. So I look forward to it. I'm gonna start Castlevania soon, also because I'm a big fan of Castlevania anyway. So I'll start that series also. There's actually a couple of things on Netflix I have to watch. I gotta watch that. I haven't checked out the new series, the new version of She-Ra yet, but I keep hearing great things about it. I just want to give it a look and see. You guys can hear me, right? You guys can hear me, right? You guys can hear me, right? Because I think one of my boys just commented that he couldn't hear me. No, he said their mics are muted, but mine is okay. But he said everybody else's mic is muted. That shouldn't be a thing. Oh, crap. I, I mean, hopefully, um, he said, and this he said is on Facebook. So, hmm okay. Oh, you guys are. All right, let me see something. Hold on. Oh man. Um. All right, hold on one second. Dag, I thought this was. All right, let me see something here. Um. Okay, my mic is coming in. I mean, if I have to turn off Bluetooth, I'll turn off Bluetooth. That's not a big deal. Let me just grab my other headset. Um. I can't hear. Okay. I mean, I don't know what the delay is on the Facebook side. Because that's what they're saying. Like, I mean, I don't see anything happening on the YouTube side, but apparently a few of my friends on Facebook are saying that they can't hear you guys. They can hear me. Oh, really? All right, so here's what I'll do. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's, wait a second. Hold up. Wow. Come on. All right, so Harold, like, are you guys still muted? Let me see something here. How about now? Talk real quick, guys. Real quick, talk. Just talk.
Okay, testing. 1, 2, testing.
All right. That
1,
should be
2.
good now. All right.
I have to wait for the delay to kick in.
Are you guys still muted?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm seeing my mouth move on YouTube, but I'm not hearing anything.
Okay.
So you might have to restart the Streamlabs, maybe.
I just changed the settings on Streamlabs. Kev, can you hear us now? Looking at my boy Kev, he's watching us right now.
I just heard Harold. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. He says we're good now.
Okay.
Oh man.
Oh.
So sorry about
that.
Okay, there we go.
I just got to remember to change the settings for the desktop audio. Okay. Somebody thinks you're cute, Kim.
Huh?
Somebody thinks you're cute.
Oh, thanks, I guess.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna rerun through because I'm assuming they
heard absolutely nothing
from the beginning. Absolutely nothing from the beginning.
Yeah.
Except for all the crap that I said. All right. So real quick, just to do a quick run through the news. Stanley passing. We talked about Bill Maher's ridiculous ass words and him not realizing the effect it really just has on the geek and nerd community or just the entertainment community in general. But then again, he's a provocateur. That's what he does. That's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
We also talked about the Elseworlds trailer, and I think we're all in agreement that the Elseworlds crossover this year is going to be probably the one that's going to top here on Crisis on Earth X from last year. I think that's definitely going to be a situation. John Cryer has been casted as Lex Luthor for Supergirl. We think he's going to do a pretty good job. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been renewed for a 7th season, even though the 6th season has premiered yet, and I will be forcing myself to watch the whole entire series from the beginning. God, that's going to take a long time. How many episodes is in a season for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? How many episodes is in a season?
I'll look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, because
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, if it's 13, I can roll with it. But if it's like a full 26, I'm gonna need all the candy. Like, just need all the candy and stuff.
Sorry, not sorry. There are. Let's look up. This is on Wikipedia. There are 22 episodes in the first season.
Oh my goodness.
And there's 22 in season 2, 22 in season 3, etc., etc., etc.
All right, fine, whatever.
Ah, man.
Fine.
You better get mentally prepared for that one.
I'll do it.
Just some monsters, some Red Bulls,
I'll do it. I'll do it right now.
Don't put any coloring books nearby, because you might actually just color everything in that.
All right, I'll do it. We also talked about the Devil May Cry series, which is coming to Netflix, being done by Adi Shankar, who is responsible for the Castlevania series on Netflix also.
Yep.
I don't know when that's. Yeah. I don't know when that's.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, we were talking about how it was animated. We really like an live action, because a live action would be so much better than an animated series, just for the action part.
Yes.
And how we're talking about casting and things of that nature, who we would cast in that part. So
I'd have to take some time out and really put a legit casting for this. If it was live action, for you got Dante, you got Virgil, you got what's the girl's name?
Oh God, I'm horrible with names.
Oh my God, I haven't played Devil May Cry in a minute, so I'm forgetting her name. I'll look it up later and stuff, but just for all that. But that'll probably be coming out some point next year. We'll see. We'll see. We got a couple more interesting pieces of news. The writer for The Princess Bride, William Goldman, passed away, I believe.
Really?
This week. Yeah. It's been a minute since I watched The Princess Bride, but I know a lot of people super love that.
Love it.
So. So I think before we lost Stan Lee, who did we lose? Because somebody, I think, passed away that weekend before Stan Lee passed away.
I think the guy who did the San Diego Comic-Con also passed away too.
He did. Yeah, he did that.
Yes. Yeah, I remember. I remember.
They say death always comes in three, so I think William Goldman was the third one. So. One piece of news that I'm really excited about: Young Justice Outsiders has finally released the premiere date for the DC Universe app, which is January 4th. So, needless to say, I will be all up in that. I just yesterday I finally signed up. I finally fully signed into the DC Universe app. I fully have it now.
What do you think of it?
I like it. I think it's a great deal. So I actually have a couple of things that I have to start considering now, because I normally get all my DC comic books from my comic book store. But if it's on the app, I might have to go talk to him and tell him, listen, you can take this, and this off my pull list. I have the app now, so I'll just do that. But at the same time, I like having the hard copy in my possession.
You know what Stanley said? He said, listen, I have nothing against digital comics, but a comic book is like a pair of, I'd rather have them in my hands to look at.
You're standing there right there, boy. Right there. He knew what he was talking about. You know what he's talking about. So I don't know. I'm gonna explore some more. I really only got it because of the motion capture stuff, motion pictures that they have, all the movies and stuff. Although they don't have the entire. I think they don't have the entire DC Cinematic Universe stuff up there yet. They got all the old Superman movies, the Batman movies.
They have a lot of them. I saw Flashpoint. I saw Justice League War. I saw pretty much a lot of the Justice League films are up there. But the one thing that I am a little disappointed about is that they don't have Batman 66. The Batman 66 television series with Burt Ward and Adam West. I was kind of hoping that they would have that.
I'm hoping at some point they add that stuff. I'm still in the middle of the first season, the first episode of Titans, so I'm gonna work through that probably the whole week. I know there are 8 episodes. I know there are 8 episodes in, so I'm gonna definitely give that a look and really just see. And I know there's a couple other series coming out too. They got a Swamp Thing series getting ready to come out. And a couple other things too. But I think it was a good investment, and it's $8 a month. That's really not that bad. It's really not that bad for what they're giving. It's really not that bad.
I'm really enjoying Titans. I'm really enjoying Titans. I mean, everybody has their thoughts about it. I am enjoying it. I'm totally enjoying it.
I'm so behind, so.
I will say this though. Damn, what was I going to say? Damn, it just had it in my head too. I will say this for the DC Universe streaming service. They need to stop playing and put it on the Fire Stick. Like,
yeah,
I have a Fire Stick. They have it on like Amazon TV, like the big machine. They have it on that, but they don't have it on the Fire Stick. So I'm like, they need to jump on that. In fact, I'm even mad.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can because you got to think your Fire Stick only has about so much memory.
That's true. But I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised it's not available for like the PlayStation 3 or 4 because I would easily put it on there. I would easily put it on my PlayStation.
Not to promote this. I'd like to promote this, but can't you get it on Kodi?
I could. I had Kodi for a minute, but I gave up on Kodi because it reset itself, and I wasn't going to be going through that process again. But basically, I mean, I can screencast. I can screen mirror to my Fire Stick, so that's not a big deal. So I can put it. I can add it to And Tiny finally joined us. Tiny
look at
finally
that.
Joined us. There we go. All right. Tiny here.
I almost died trying to say hi to Connie. Oh my God.
You missed our big technical difficulty blunder that we just had not too long ago. Apparently I wasn't muted, but everybody else was. So, so
we had a whole conversation that nobody heard.
It was like a whole conversation that was missed out, so we had to backtrack on our news.
Yeah.
But we're almost done with. You're saying, Harold?
And I went through this entire thing about how, you know, when we were talking about Bill Maher, talking about Stan Lee, and I was talking about the importance of different things in people's lives. And we started. I said I didn't fully understand what is that sport again? What was the sport that we were talking about? Curling. I said I might not understand curling, but for those who are involved in that particular sport, it probably did something for them. They might have even thought about like ending their own life, but for somehow when they got into curling, it gave them purpose. Same thing with comic books. If you don't understand comic books, you never know how these things, this medium, may have helped someone or inspired somebody to be better than they are and probably save their life. They'll pick up a Spider-Man comic book and they look at the comic book and say, hey, you know what? I can relate to this person. I have a reason to go on. So with Bill Maher saying what he said about Stan Lee, it was basically just fishing for ratings, trying to get a rise out of people, and do not feed the trolls.
I genuinely believe that he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was saying.
Absolutely.
He knew exactly how people like us would take it. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's built his career off of doing stuff like that.
Right.
He had he did like a, I don't want to call it a faux documentary, but he did a documentary like a couple of years ago called Religulous. Religulous. Like it was supposed to be like his journey through multiple religions and trying to debunk them. He knows exactly what he's doing. That doesn't change the fact that everything he said was very disrespectful. You know, it's disrespectful.
Right.
I mean, again, it's not just to Stan Lee. You know, we take Stan Lee out of the equation for right now. Just the fact that he wants to criticize and tear down the whole nature of comic books in general.
Yes.
And it's like you said before, Howard, the whole nature of comic books is to like really inspire, is to teach. Like I forgot who said it. Like somebody said that if it wasn't for comic books, they would have never learned how to read. The guy that we met at your dad's Thanksgiving time. That older gentleman, he said that he had comic books and he had a dictionary and he was looking up these words and trying to figure out what they mean. I buy
That's the same way people in Japan learn how to speak English. They learn through video games and comic books.
You know, so for him to just say that all Stan Lee did was create things that just basically get people to go see some movies, and like it goes way beyond just movies, just comic book movies. It's like, you know, which is fitting because the topic of today, which is being a content creator, is really all about that. You know, no matter what kind of content you create, you know, if you do something really good, people are going to remember you for it. You know, it's I don't know. You know, like I said, I normally ride with Bill Maher, but you know, that right there was like a total. It was a slap in the face. It was a real slap in the face for like not just Stan Lee, but everybody else that has been a fan of his. You know, so I'm not gonna just keep sitting here. And I mean, I've said my piece on it already, so that'll be that. And the last thing we left on was how Young Justice Outsider is going to be premiering on January 4th. So, like I said, needless to say, I will be ready to go for Young Justice Outsiders. I was so mad when they canceled it the first time. So the fact that they are not only coming back, but coming back with a new season, it brings me happiness.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes.
It just brings me great happiness. So I can't wait for January 4th. I really can't. I'm just checking out something real quick on Facebook. Just give me 1 second. Make sure everything is good.
Because it says it stopped, so I'm not sure if it's still going on Facebook.
I think I know what happened. I think I know exactly what happened.
All right, well, big shout out to Daryl Taylor. I think she's watching this. Hey, Daryl.
It's good because I think Daryl is watching us. He's watching us on YouTube now.
Yes.
So and the YouTube stream is still going. So I know what happened with I know what happened with the Facebook one. I know what happened. So there we go. All right, we'll just continue on. The last piece of news that I want to talk about is, and this happened I think this happened maybe yesterday or the day before. Stephen Amell met with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum. I don't know what they're discussing, but we got both sides of the CW DC universe talking with each other. And I don't know if you guys follow Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. It's called Inside You with Michael Rosenbaum. You can catch it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, Michael Rosenbaum is insane. Okay, like I know we're so used to seeing him as Lex Luthor, who's very stoic and very single-minded, but in real life, Michael Rosenbaum is a nutcase. He's like probably one of the funniest dudes that you can have on set. So his podcast is actually really cool. I watched his interview. He actually had an interview with Tom Welling that I thought was really good. And he also had an interview with Stephen Amell that I thought was really good too. I found out a lot about Stephen Amell from that interview with Michael Rosenbaum. So they could just be planning another podcast where like all of them together are sitting in one room, but I can only hope that they're talking about some kind of crossover of some sort with the Arrowverse and the Smallville universe at some point. Not too many details was given out about it, but yeah. I very much look forward to that meeting because as far as I can tell, Stephen Amell, I mean, he definitely enjoys being a part of the Arrowverse. He enjoys it a great deal, and I think he might be at a point right now where he's really trying to expand it in any way that he can.
I mean, he embellishes it like Ryan Reynolds does with Deadpool. I mean, he's in it, about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's really in it. He's totally about it. I mean, he embellishes.
Isn't he a method actor though?
Who? Stephen Amell?
Wait, what am I talking? I wasn't even paying attention. I'm sorry.
I was saying how Stephen Amell, how he just like embellishes and really gets into it, you know, with Arrow, pretty much like how how Ryan Reynolds does with Deadpool. He just, he gives. I think he gives the audience what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll find out more about that. I think I'm subscribed to that podcast channel on YouTube, and I think I'm going to subscribe to it on like one of the on a podcasting service that I have also. It's a really good show. It's a really good show. I mean, that's all the news I got. I don't know if there's any other pieces of news that you guys might have. That's all I got for right now.
What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start gathering some news and bringing it to this show, just in case, like we have a spot where we can use some more news. I'll just have something on hand. Maybe all of us should have something on hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have some homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we got. Can't wait to get into the homework.
which is actually what we're getting ready to go into right now. Before we get into our main topic of discussion, which is making a content creator, we put out a homework assignment for all of you guys who listen and watch us. And basically, the homework assignment is basically centered around reboots. And there's been a great deal of reboots within the past couple of years, and I know a lot of people's complaints is that like they seem to just be rebooting everything now, from movies to TV shows and even game shows and things like that. I've never been one to be against reboots. My whole thing is this: if there's a way you can make it better, give it a shot. Just give it a shot. What's the hurt? Because even if it fails, you at least have the original to fall back on.
Yes.
So oftentimes they don't work, and that might be the fault of the fans in most cases. But Kimmy, you look like you're having a blast over there playing that game.
Look at the grin. Look at the grin.
She almost had the gamer's tongue hanging out. She was like, I gotta get this But the assignment was very simple. It was broken down into 3 parts. The first part where you had to tell us at least 5 reboots that you actually enjoyed. And again, it could be TV show, movie, whatever. The second part would be 5 cover songs that you thought were better than the original. And again, these are all, cover songs. And then the last part are 5 properties, at least 5 properties that you would reboot. How and why would you reboot them? Who wants to start? I don't know. I don't think
I can start off with I'm going to start with the first question.
Yeah.
What reboots we like better than the others?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on, let me get my list. Actually, I'm pausing my game for this. Hold on.
Oh boy.
I know. This is here. All right. So, my first one, the reboot that I like more than the original, Dracula.
Which one?
The Bram Stoker version of Dracula. I liked it better than the original version of Dracula, which is a very old version of Dracula.
Yeah. Who was that? Bela Lugosi? Is that who? That's who played Dracula?
I believe so. Again, I'm not good with names. I'm horrible with names. I'm throwing that out there to everyone. Every actor is the same to me at this point because it's all one name. So, yeah, definitely love the new Dracula. If they remade it again, I would love it even more because I like Dracula in general.
They kind of did with Dracula Untold. I don't know if you watched that. The true, just the original storyline, not even the add-ons or the original, just the original storyline again. Yeah, I would totally do. And Ocean's 11 is my number 2. The George Clooney
because
one.
George Clooney Ocean's 11, because the original Ocean's 11, I believe the cast included, what is the name of that singer?
The Rat Pack.
God.
It was the Rat Pack.
Yeah, the Rat Pack.
Frank Sinatra and all of them.
Yeah. And I couldn't follow the storyline very well with the original one, to be honest with you. It was very confusing. It was very far-fetched. You know, the whole faking the death to get the money to... Yeah, it was weird. But when they remade it, I understood it perfectly, and I got it, and I loved it from the jump, especially because Bernie Mac is in it. You know, some of the last two movies that Bernie Mac were in, and they were really good movies. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 13. Let's not talk about Ocean's 12.
I was just going to say, I like how we all just skipped Ocean's 12 because Ocean's 12 was.
I couldn't finish. I never finished Ocean's 12.
The whole Julia Roberts playing Julia Roberts.
Yeah. Ocean's 12 was the second movie I've seen in the movie theaters to put me to sleep. The first movie was Urban Legends Final Cut, and I only just saw it because there's nothing else to see. I don't know why we even went to go see that. But Ocean's 12 put me to sleep. I was like, oh my God, this movie's boring.
It was just bad. It was overall so bad. You know, but I like how the fact that they put what's his name, Talor, from Ocean's 12 into Ocean's 13 as an additional villain. I did like that part. So they kind of, you know, revived his character in a way so that way he doesn't look so bad. But yeah, it was bad. Number 3 for me, Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
Which one?
These are all the Dawn of not the Day of the Dead, but the Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, where all the zombies were like track stars.
Yeah, in the mall.
Yeah.
In the mall, yeah, and the one lady had the baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the remake of that because, especially with the new technology, they were able to make it a little bit more, you know, gory. The monsters look a lot better. Like the original is still a classic. Don't get me wrong, it's still a classic, but it's just it was more intense when they remade it.
Right.
I'm sorry, but when you see the zombies start running, this game over. It's a wrap. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, because I saw that in a movie theater with a couple of my friends, and I was like, oh my God, they're running now. What? How do you survive this now? How do you do this?
But that's like 28 days later. I'm sorry. As soon as I saw 28 days later, I'm like, if this happens, I'm like, I can't run a mile with have asthma. Like, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. I'm like, I'm gonna be dead within the first 15 minutes of like the whole scene, unless I have like an armored truck and I knew it was coming. You know, at that point, you still got to run out of gas eventually. All right, where are we now? That was my number 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, Little Shop of Horrors. I'm going to go musical with this. I love me some Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
I love me some Rick Moranis. I think he is hilarious. I think he made that quirky, that part very quirky. And though the original, I believe, had, what is this guy's name? I'm going to actually look it up now because I really want to mention his name. See here, because he was just as quirky. Jonathan Hayes.
Okay. Was
the original Seymour, and although he was a little bit quirky, he wasn't as quirky or as awkward as Rick Moranis made that character, and he played it very well. And I love the fact that mostly everybody in that film went on bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so, and I love it for that reason, because I can't think of her name right now. The girl who played Gina Martin. And also
Tisha Campbell.
Campbell and the other one, the dark skin girl on Martin.
Tashina Arnold.
Tashina Arnold, yeah.
Remember, I'm horrible with names. Keep that in mind. So the two of them end up on Martin together, but they work in a little shop of horrors together. Like, what's the likelihood of that? But I do love it. I think, you know, everybody played their parts very well. And it was very much redone. With the original one, as good as it is, it's not as, it doesn't make the impact. You don't remember it. You don't even know it exists for most people. All right, my number 5, and I actually have a number 6 for you guys.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go into detail. My number 5 is Lost in Space.
Yes. And the crazy thing is I never really finished watching it.
Yeah.
I never really finished watching it, but it started off so good. I don't know what deterred me from watching the rest, but it was really, really good.
Really good. I was like, edge of my seat, ready to scream at my TV. Crazy. And I'm like, I never had that feeling with the original show. The original show was like fun and quirky and, you know, jokey, but
and
this,
we don't talk about that movie.
Oh gosh, no.
We don't talk about that movie. Yeah.
No, that shall not be named. Yeah, this had me on the edge of my seat, ready to like scream at the TV.
I mean, if it was one thing, it was another. It was like one calamity. It was like one a calamity happened after another. It was like, can the Robinsons get a break?
Exactly. But I like how they made the robot.
Yes.
In the new one, the robot actually looks intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how they balanced that. How he met the robot. How the robot started to like him and started to save him and started to work for him. I love that idea.
Yeah.
And you know, I love the conflict of that. He loves his robot, but everybody else is afraid of it. You know, because they. You know, I love it. But my number 6, and I'm not going to go into detail, these new Star Trek movies, period.
It's funny. That's my number 3. That's my number 3. Mm-hmm. Like, I've always been a Star Trek fan, more so than a Star Wars fan. So, like, the Next Generation was my series, and it's still, Next Generation is always going to be my series. But this new set of movies has been like top notch to me. I really enjoyed them.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh. And why do people have a problem with Into Darkness? Why do people have a problem with Into Darkness?
Because
I don't know.
It's new. Because it's new. The technology is different. The storyline's a little bit different. Everything's a little bit different from what people are used to. And these are these nostalgic people that want to hold on to the, you know, old, you know, Captain Kirk. I don't want him to go. I'm like, no, we need to let go of Shatner because Shatner.
Right.
You know, he needs to go. So we need to now embrace this.
Yeah, like Harold, I'm with you. I love Into Darkness. I thought Into Darkness.
Cumberbatch was the best Khan since Michael Bond.
Yeah. And it was the perfect casting because he is just that cold. Like he has. You see Cumberbatch in playing Sherlock. You watch him play Sherlock, and he has that. But wittiness about him. Like he can be he can tell a joke with a serious face. I love it.
And it's funny because not just Cumberbatch himself as Khan, just the story behind it. Because if you read the original story, Khan, I mean, it's still relatively close to what we got in Into Darkness.
It was close.
But he wasn't like a super soldier or anything like that. He was just a superhuman.
Yeah.
Who took over like part of the earth.
Right.
You know, I like the fact that they turned him. He was like a super soldier that was exploited because of his, you know, military expertise. And I really enjoyed the fact that they introduced us to a militarized Starfleet. They never did that before.
Exactly. Right. Which is why when you look at the series now, the new series that came out, you see the lead character, again, no names, the black girl, she was taught, you know, and she's supposed to be as stoic, you know, like just like them. They're not. She was made to be stoic, made to be a brain, made to be like a military machine,
right?
But learns how to have feelings because she's still technically a human, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So I do love how that now, even with the new series, they're starting to now make that more like the movies. And they're trying to change that outlook on everything else. And I do love the change. But yes, Star Trek movies, hands down. Better.
Right.
no questions, no answers.
Those are all dope. Those are definitely all dope. Harold, you want to go next?
Let's see. Okay, so we're talking about the franchises I like better than the original. Voltron.
Yeah.
Voltron. We remember the original Voltron. The original Voltron was very, very formulaic. Okay, they had a problem. They had a road beast. Okay, let's form Voltron, kill the road beast. This one here, they actually had character development. Yeah. They didn't even form Voltron until like much, much later. And you build these characters up and how they work together. They become a family. You know, their issues and their personal issues. It was cool. It was funny. It was exciting. Voltron.
Yeah.
Voltron.
I definitely agree with that.
Spider-Man. Tom Holland. Love that kid. Adore that kid. Okay, I love everything that they're doing with Spider-Man, making him younger. Tom Holland.
That actually does work out better. Him being younger, yeah.
I didn't have a problem. I didn't really have a problem with. They could. I think it was the writing with the Andrew Garfield films. I think it was the writing more or less.
That's all it was.
Andrew Garfield, I did not mind him as Peter Parker. I thought it was pretty good, actually. But it was the writing that I had a problem with. You know, that's the reason why I fell flat. The Resident Evil game, I'm going to go away from movies. The Resident Evil games, the first reboot of the original Resident Evil game when they went into the mansion, the one that was released for GameCube years ago, I thought that was a great reboot because they went back to the original because it started to kind of fall off a little bit. And then when they went to Resident Evil 4, when they started to do the over-the-shoulder third person over the shoulder type of view, that was a great improvement. They started to kind of fall off a little bit with Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 6 was horrendous. But Resident Evil 7.
Evil 7. Listen,
you know what? I'm gonna.
No,
go ahead, Kendrick. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying I played the demo for Resident Evil 7, and that was the first time in a while Resident Evil made me jump because I remember playing
there you go.
Resident Evil. And like I did what all my friends did. I played it in the dark, lights off, all that stuff. But the direction they took with Resident Evil 7, I thought was a great direction that they took it in.
Absolutely.
If they could keep it that way, they'll be good. They will definitely be good.
They took it. They made it first person, but they still had the tension and the feel of the original Resident Evil games, right down to your status bar, which was on that little wristwatch thingy. Yeah. So you still have your Resident Evil feel, but it was first person, and they were able to mesh the two seamlessly. And number 4 is also Star Trek. I love the new Star Trek films. Moving right along to, I love I never thought that they could actually remake an animated series better. And that's the reboot of the Thundercats some time ago, and I thought such respect to the original material.
You're talking about Thundercats 2011, right?
Yeah, 2011. 2011.
They did not do that thing justice, and then when I say that, I mean they didn't give it a chance to really pull off because that version of Thundercats was probably the best cartoon reboot I had seen in a long time.
Yes, they had it.
Because I think the fact was that they took it very seriously, and I really enjoyed the way they expanded into like the other species of anthropomorphic animals that they had in the universe. You had the dog people, you had the elephant people. Snarf didn't talk. That helped out a great deal. Snarf didn't talk. So, but I'm so mad that they canceled that. I was so mad when they canceled it. I thought it was so great, and it was getting really good too.
Yeah, quick future show idea: series that were unnecessarily, unceremoniously canceled.
All right. I mean, just to put it out there right now, for the next GeekCast, for those listening and those watching. The next assignment will be, you said TV shows or just anything on TV that was unnecessarily canceled.
There you go.
So that'll be the homework assignment. Pick out any TV show or cartoon that you thought was unnecessarily canceled and tell us why.
Yeah.
That would be hard for me because everything I actually ended up watching never got canceled.
Oh wow.
I'm lucky like that apparently.
But that's it. I got my 5.
Tommy, you don't really have any at the moment, right? Or do you have a couple?
No, I got them.
Okay, cool.
All right. So, this was said already, but number 1 was Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
The number 2, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, that's my number 2. That's my number 2.
All right. Number 3. I mean, it was rebooted into a TV series, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TV. We talking about the TV series is better than the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
TV series is better than the movie.
Yeah. Definitely.
Number 4. Mixed opinion on this, but another one TV series made, I think, was better than the movie was Teen Wolf.
Yep.
And number 5, I gotta prefix number 5 because number 5 is kind of dumb. Like me and Ken have this thing that we do called Bad Movie Night, and before that, me and my mom had Bad Movie Night where, like, you know, the movie isn't particularly good, but we just like watching it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 5 is Death at a Funeral. Which I thought was funny. Which I thought was funnier than the British original.
With Chris Rock and all them. Okay.
Yeah.
That one was funny.
Yeah.
I thought that one was funny.
I actually did not enjoy Death at a Funeral at all. Either way. I thought they both were like horribly terrible. But.
Unfortunately, I never saw
That's why
it.
I said the movie's not particularly good, but I don't know, we just like watching them.
I mean, if I had to, I probably prefer the British version, the British comedy, that dry, non-humor.
Yeah, my mother loves British comedy. I'm like, what the hell are you watching?
It's dry, non-humor. I'm like, it's hilarious.
I got a little more than 5, but I'm gonna try to get to them really quick because some of you guys already touched them in already. My number 1 is Teen Wolf, and I only like it because of the fact that they expounded. I mean, the original Teen Wolf was a comedy. It was a comedy movie. I like the direction they took with the series, especially with the later seasons of Teen Wolf. I thought they did a really good job.
Season 5 was a little trash, but it's all right.
Yeah. Next is my number 2 is the Planet of the Apes trilogy. What they did with this trilogy this time around, I thought was a little bit more realistic, and I really, really dug that trilogy. I think my favorite one out of all of them, out of the 3 movies though, it might have to be 2. What's that? Is that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, the second one I thought was really good. I enjoyed that a great deal.
I don't remember seeing the third one. Did we see the third one?
Did we watch it? I think we watched it one night at your house, but it was a while ago. We did. My third one, of course, is the new Star Trek franchise, the new Star Trek movies. Of course, Into Darkness is my favorite one out of the 3. Although Star Trek Beyond was really fun. I thought it was a really fun movie, but Into Darkness was the movie that stole it for me there. Yeah. Number 4 is The Tick on Amazon.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Because we all remember the cartoon. The cartoon used to come on Fox and Comedy Central. Then there was a live action version of the show with Patrick Warburton, who played the Tick, and that came on Fox.
Yeah.
But that didn't last very long. The new version of the Tick, which comes on Amazon, is actually really, really good. I enjoyed it a great deal. I think they only have like 1 season so far. I'm assuming they're coming back for a second one, but I really enjoyed the new Tick series. My number 5, and I know this is going to be very controversial with a lot of people, but I really enjoyed Terminator Genesis. Now, Terminator Genesis kind of served as like it was supposed to be a reboot of the Terminator franchise. Because it's supposed to take a different direction. I think I enjoyed the concept of the movie more than the actual movie itself.
I see what you're saying.
Only because it's the fact that, we're dealing here in this universe now. We're dealing with a Sarah Connor who knows everything because she was saved as a kid by Terminator. John Connor becomes the bad guy, which is something I'm surprised they never did years ago.
Right.
Up until Terminator Genesis, John Connor was always supposed to be the hero. But I'm like, when he turned into the villain, I was like, you know what? I can go with this because I kind of like when good guys become the bad guys for a little bit. But I think casting kind of jacked that movie up and it's like the listener was reading up to me yesterday on Katanni about miscasting about Amelia Clark, who got casted as Sarah Connor. She looked very young, and Sarah Connor, as we all know, was like a grizzled, like warrior woman by the end of it all. So and then and I have nothing really against Jai Courtney, but him casted as Kyle Reese kind of, you know, I enjoyed Jai Courtney in Suicide Squad. I thought it was a cool Captain Boomerang. But Terminator Genesis might not have been his movie. So that's my number 5. My number 6 is actually a two-parter. It's both the reboots of Masters of the Universe and Thundercats. Because both of them went in a more serious direction, so I enjoyed them both on Cartoon Network.
Yes.
And then I guess my last one, no, I got one more after this. Actually, this is another two-parter. It 2017 and The Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010. I like the new version of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I actually dug it a great deal. And then my last one is going to be Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Every time I watch Batman Begins, I'm reminded of how good it was. Nothing against Ben Affleck, but to me, Batman Begins was such a great reemergence of Batman in the in cinemas. And as much as I love The Dark Knight, it was just something about Batman Begins that really gets me excited every time I watch it. And like I said, every time I watch it, I'm reminded of how good it actually really was.
It was the movie that made you care about.
I don't even remember who Batman was in Batman Begins.
Christian Bale.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I am not a fan of Christian Bale.
You know,
it made you care about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But
You were saying, Kim?
But I'm sorry. It's going back to your Friday the 13th and It thing. The only reason why I didn't put down It is because I've never seen the original. Ever.
I've never seen the original either.
So I couldn't put it down out of like good faith.
Did I say not Friday the 13th? Is that what I said?
Yeah, or Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street.
But
it's a Nightmare on Elm Street.
If you are a fan of Tim Curry in any way, shape, or form, you have to watch the original because Tim Curry is fantastic in the original It.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the new version, and I can't wait for It Part 2, Chapter 2 to come out. So.
All right, let's read the comments Daryl Taylor did contribute. So he said She-Ra 2018, He-Man 2002, Thundercats 2011, It 2017, Batman Begins 2005, Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, Friday the 13th 2009. I think
that's where I saw Friday the 13th. So look at the comments.
Yeah.
And He-Man 2002.
Okay.
Those are all really good. Like I think more often than not, when you find the right people behind it, reboots actually do a lot better than the original. If you really have someone behind it. If you're just doing it as a cash grab, that's when it fails. That's when it falls apart. If you're just doing it just to make some money, that's where it really falls apart. But if you genuinely have a desire to want to see something done better, it does better.
It has to be a love child.
Yeah.
But isn't Uber Jason just cool looking?
That I will agree. Now, Jason X, for all intents and purposes, wasn't that great, but to see a futuristic mechanized version of Jason was really cool.
That was cool.
It was really
they could have done something with that.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
So what was the second question that we're on now?
No, the second question is the cover songs that we enjoyed.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll go first again for this one.
Yeah, go ahead and go first.
Okay. All right. So, my first one is probably a shocker. I'm gonna go with "Sweet Dreams" and "Tainted Love" by Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
And the reason why, because Sweet Dreams, your Eurythmics is cool and so also. They both have those songs where they're very catchy and, you know, very good. But that is like his versions of them make me want to go see a horror movie.
Yeah.
They make me want to go, I want to go to the theater and watch, you know, House on Haunted Hill or something like that. Like, I really want to just, like, it has that dark and edgy kind of sound, and I love it more than the original by far, both of them. You know, definitely. Number 2 has to go to Tina, and that's Proud Mary. The original was Creedence Clearwater Revival, I think is the name of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have that down.
You have it down too, yeah. The original is nice. It's a lot slower, but when Tina took it, it's like you don't hear their version anymore. It's just like you have to go do what you got to do. Yeah. And Tina had, you know, and what she was going through and everything else, I think that was like a pivotal song for that time at that point. Second one, even though I love the Beatles, like, with a passion, I have to do Michael Jackson's version of Come Together.
That's my number 4.
And I think, you know, I love the Beatles version. I love them both, but I think Michael it made it more poppy, more dancey. You know, definitely put his twist on that one. Number 4, I have to thank Quentin Tarantino for this one. Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon by Urge Overkill, which is originally a Neil Diamond song. And that was the first time I heard that was in, oh God, what's the name of that movie? Pulp Fiction. There you go.
Oh, okay.
That's the scene where she overdoses.
Oh, yeah.
That's the song she's singing. And I fell in love with that song. It's a creepy song, but I fell in love with it in that very moment just by the sound. His voice sounds a lot more edgier than the Neil Diamond version, and I think it fits a lot more than the Neil Diamond version. So I definitely only hear that one. Where am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Killing Me Softly by the Fugees.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
The original version, Roberta Flack. Yeah. Love her, but you can't hear that song anymore without hearing Fugees.
Yeah.
Like, you hear the intro, it's done. It's Fugees all the way.
Yeah. Really.
I have that on my list too, and I actually learned that it was that Roberta Flack also covered it.
Oh wow! So it's a cover of a cover, and the cover of the cover is better than the cover. And I actually have another number 6. And I can't say this guy's name to save my life, but Over the Rainbow, Israel, however you say his last name, the heavyset Hawaiian.
I know who you're talking about. I can't say his name either.
Ikamako something or other. It's like it's a little bit more of like a Hawaiian theme, more island theme version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And it sounds a lot better. It sounds a lot more happy. You know, I think the original Over the Rainbow is more like depressing to me in a way, because it sounds like you're going away, where this one sounds like you're actually going to find something nice on the other side of that rainbow when he sings it. So that's my 6, not 5, 6. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, well, mine is really just I think it's just as eclectic. I find myself sometimes listening to Cruise and which was originally done by Smokey Robinson, but redone by D'Angelo. I love that one. Recently, they've been playing it a lot over at Planet Fitness. There's a band called Bad Wolves. They redid the Cranberries song "Zombie." I like that one.
Yeah,
they went hard on that one.
And that is an actually really, really, really good song.
Let's see. I have to. I mean, you might laugh, but I do enjoy the Fall Out Boy's version of "Beat It." I enjoy it.
Really?
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. No one's ever gonna do it like Michael, but it's just that when I listened to him, and I was like, you know what? That wasn't bad. Come Together, which was redone by Michael, originally done by the Beatles. I also like the Gary Clark Jr. version.
That's my number 4. That's my number 4. The exact same way. Yeah, I liked his version.
There's a guy on YouTube who does something called, I think it's called 30-second songs. His name is Anthony Vincent. He did Adele's Hello, but he did it in the style of Green Day. I thought it was genius.
Really?
He did it in Green Day style. He was like, "Hello, Cafe."
Wow.
I was wondering. He put on the Billy Joel voice and everything.
Wow.
And let's see what else. Believe it or not, there was a song. It was an '80s song by Nena called "99 Left Balloons." And actually, Nena actually did a smoothed out version of that one, which I really like.
I've actually heard that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the young lady, by the way, the young lady's name is not Nena. I forgot what her real name is. But she hasn't changed a bit. She still looks the same. And my number 1 favorite remake at this point of all time, and I think I posted it on Facebook. I said, it's a wonderful thing. Even though the world is the way it is, it's just a beautiful thing to know that people still like Toto's Africa. So much so that Weezer did a wonderful remake that was so much respect to Toto. They didn't try to do anything fancy with it. They just made the guitars a little bit more distorted, but they kept the feel of the song Africa. I felt like they were jamming with Toto, to tell you the truth.
So, like, gonna touch the reins down in Africa? Is that what happened? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to that one. I'm gonna have to listen to that one and see what that sounded like. Cause like it seems like there's like a big resurgence of the song Africa, like within like the past couple of weeks or so. So I'm gonna give that one a listen.
But that's my list.
All right, time up.
Okay, so a couple of repeats. So I'll go through them quickly. I also like Proud Mary and Killing Me Softly. My number 3 is, even though I get tired of the song at times, I Will Always Love You.
By Dolly Parton versus Whitney's.
Yes.
Dolly's has a lot of heart. It's like
I don't know. It's something about Dolly's voice that like drives me crazy. Like, it's another song that she does, I think, that I love, that Jolene, and that was also redone, and I like the redone version better, but I had to like cut my list short. But it was actually redone by White Stripes. And I actually liked his version. I like the way he sung it a lot better.
Respect by Aretha Franklin, number 4. It was originally by Otis Redding. I don't know these girls' names because I do not watch The Voice. But because I don't watch The Voice, it just randomly came across my YouTube feed recommended to watch. So if you just go on YouTube and Google, not Google, but go on YouTube and search California Dreaming, The Voice. The way these girls sing that song, like, blew all my hair off my damn head. And so, like I said, sorry, I don't know their names, and I guess it was a few seasons back, but their version of California Dreamin' was rockin'. I like Janet Jackson's version of Tonight's the Night, originally by Rod Stewart. And I did a little bit of research because there are a lot of songs I realized that I listened to that I didn't realize were covers at first. So I just wanted to do a little bit of research just to see, like, you know, maybe a song I thought was originally by that particular artist that I like was actually a cover. So while I was researching that, I never heard it, but I am curious, and I probably should have listened to it before I got on. But I'm curious to hear. I heard that The Weeknd covered Dirty Diana.
Let's see.
And the thing is, there's a song of his that came out like a year ago or so, and it was by The Weeknd, and I was like, he sounds like Michael Jackson. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to listen to it right now. I'm about to listen to it right now. Hold on.
All right,
let me pause this for myself.
Let's see if it's good.
Hold on, wait. Let's see if I can actually get it to play. Hold on, wait. Nope, it's not going to be loud enough, probably.
I can hear it.
I can hear it.
If anyone can do a proper cover of that song, it would be The Weeknd. I mean, if we're going to be honest.
You know what? It was building me. It built me up when, you know, with the first few lines, and then it let me down. I'm sorry. I'm okay. And then when she got into
I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Hold
on. I'll be back.
I mean, when he went to the first few lines, it was building, and I was like, okay. And then when he went into the hook, I was like, okay, that's when he kind of lost me there.
Because I think his voice is not powerful enough to portray it just like Michael did.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem, is that he has power. It's just not in the right place to do it.
Excuse me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I got an incoming phone call. I'll just be 1 quick second.
Yeah, because I think when Dirty Diana was written and Michael sang it, that came from a place that he experienced. You know, doing covers of songs, you got to be able to bring back what reason why that song was created in the first place.
Well, I think he probably had a place for it, because you got to remember, he was also with What's Her Face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also with, I can't think of that girl's name right now. That singer. He was always with her, so he probably was feeling some type of way when he sung the song.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, Grand Latte, he's with her.
Okay.
Oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it
probably
is.
was in his feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Oh man. as we brought Katanni to get back. I'll run off my list of what is this about? I'll run off my list of my 5 favorite covers. Our first one is going to go to Caesar for their rendition of "Careless Whisper." If you remember the original version, it was very jazzy and saxophony with wham and stuff. But Caesar's version was like it's almost like you can put that version in like a like almost it would almost be it's I don't want to say depressing, but it almost seems like you could put it in like a hardcore movie or something like that. So I liked his version, and it's been out for years. So I like Caesar's version of "Careless Whisper." My number 2 is "Bad Moon Rising" by Morning Ritual, originally done by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah. Again, a lot of people like redoing their songs for some reason. Yeah.
The original version of "Bad Moon Rising" was very, and excuse the term, it was very hillbilly-ish. It was kind of like, it was. That's the best I could. It was very, very hillbilly-ish. But the first time I heard this song, Ty's just not joining back with us. Hold on one second. Let's let her unmute. Everything good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, it wasn't anything important. Thought it was.
I was just running off my list of my covers that I like. Like my first one is "Careless Whisper" by Caesar, who was originally done by Wham. My second one is "Bad Moon Rising" by Morning Ritual, who was originally done by Clearwater Revival. The first time I heard this version of the song was an episode of Teen Wolf, actually, and it was the episode where Void Styles entered the hospital and started killing everyone with his Oh,
I never realized that was a remake.
That song, when I heard that song, I was like, first of all, it fit the theme perfectly. Like that song is good for like a scene like out of Teen Wolf. It's good for like a very like horrific scene and stuff like that. That's what it's good for. Number 3 is "Same Old Mistakes" by Rihanna, originally done by Tame Impala. Now, it's only a cover in the sense that she's actually just singing the lyrics. The music that goes behind it is really still the same as the original version, but Rihanna's voice singing the lyrics actually, I think I dig it a little bit more than I do the original version, and I love the original version of "Same Old Mistake." But Rihanna's version just sounds more
like
magical.
It belongs.
Yeah, that sounds like a song that fits her just well. So I like it. I just like her version just a little bit more than the original. My number 4, I've already said, is "Come Together." First, I like Michael Jackson's cover of it. Then I love Gary Clark Jr.'s cover along with Junkie XL. I like that cover. And then my last one is "Mad World" by Gary Jules and Michael Andrews, originally done by Tears for Fears. But I think more people are more aware
I like the Tears for Fears version.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that cover a great deal. So those are my 5. Those are my 5.
I think that Tears for Fears cover, I think, it's just so classic.
Yeah.
It's like you can redo it and it can be enjoyable, but I think you can never top it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So that was all 4, right? It's all 4 of us, right?
Yeah.
All right, so now,
I'm like, okay, wait a second, I gotta pause again.
The remix that we would do if we would do it.
How we would do it?
Yeah, and remix. Yeah.
So like properties that we would reboot, how and why.
Well, I took it as movies. Let's letting the throw this right out there right now.
It's all good. It's all right. It's okay. I'm gonna go first in this one. I'm gonna go first in this case because there were so many that I could have went through, but I narrowed it down to just 5.
Right.
And again, I had to go back to some of my old videos.
You could do more because I actually only have 1. Because even though I've listed before the remix that I like better than the original, I actually kind of have an aversion to reboots. It takes me a really long time, unless I really didn't like the original, it takes me a really long time to even watch a reboot. It took me a really long time to watch Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, I
didn't want to see it.
So I have 6, so we should be good.
Okay.
I mean, because I really went through the back of my head at this point. I think I was being an overachiever.
All right, so well, since you only have one, Tiny, why don't you just go with yours?
Only because it needs to be done right, and I would like somebody to see it do it right. Fantastic Four needs to be remade.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
That fantastic mess was ridiculous. And nothing against Michael.
Right.
The actors in that movie, but that was not the way to go with that.
The script was bad. Everything was bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past Sue Storm's wig. I'm like, who the hell did this? You could not get some chick off the block to install a lace front for you.
It was, everything was just bad. And I don't know what they did with the Fantastic Four movies, but it's just, I guess they just thought it was a joke.
Hopefully,
and then we wouldn't notice.
I hope the MCU can really fix that issue up. That's why I keep saying I'd rather see them do a Fantastic Four movie first than do an X-Men movie with the MCU.
Right. Look, if anybody could fix it, they can.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just run off my 5 real quick. It's a mixture of movies, TV shows, and video games, actually. So,
right.
My first one would be The Last Dragon. I would love to see. I would if I did a reboot of, again, nothing against the original, nothing against the original. I love the original, but we never got a sequel. We never got a sequel for it. We never had.
I don't think it deserves one. I think it'd be done. Honestly, I think it's so time period wise. I think it's because like the whole setting. We had a music video show where people are dancing on stage and doing. We don't have that now, so it's like I think it's so period that we can't update it.
But what I would do though, if I rebooted The Last Dragon, I put it in a time period of now. Think about it.
Sorry, guys, get more comfy.
Okay, no problem.
Bruce Leroy is a character who basically doesn't. He's not aware of a lot of the mainstream things that go on in the world. It was like that in the original. So think about it. Think about it. He's a character who's a martial artist who trains secretly. What if it's a case where we're thinking about 2018? It's a case where maybe he gets in a fight in the street. Somebody records it and uploads it to YouTube. And now he has to figure out how to navigate through the world like that. And in the meantime, there's a character like Shonuff who's going around who does, let's not even make Shonuff like how he was in the original. Make him an MMA fighter. Make Shonuff an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Make him an MMA fighter, and all he does is internet fight. Right. To challenge Bruce Leroy. And then as far as the glow is concerned, spend a little bit on the glow. That's just what I would do with The Last Dragon. I think it would work out pretty well, but that's just me.
I actually can see I'm not there with you on that one. But I see what you're doing. I see where you're going with it. No. I would leave that
unless you make it a period piece.
And that's exactly. I think at that point it would have to be a period thing, because how do you get the female damsel in distress? How do you get all those? Like, how do you explain? Because honestly, at this point, it wouldn't even be Bruce Leroy anymore. It'd have to be somebody else. It'd have to be an entirely different person if you're going to put it and set it in this type of way. So it kind of has to change the entire, thing to make it modern. You have to age him. Maybe be his son or his grandson or whatever the case may be. And honestly, if you've seen what's his name, the actor who plays Bruce Leroy, he doesn't look like he aged a day in his life.
Oh, trust me, we see him all the time.
It's like it could go to Comic-Con, but It's like he doesn't look like he aged a day in his life. So I'm like, I don't know how he will look trying to play somebody's grandfather at this point. So I have no clue how that would go entirely. But you know, that's just my opinion on that. That's personally mine.
My number 2, and I'm probably going to catch hell for this, would be the Matrix franchise.
I agree.
Okay.
Like,
I agree.
Nothing against the first movie. I still love the
2018 graphics.
Yes, I see exactly because it has not aged well at all.
The first one, I think the first one still holds up. The first Matrix still holds up. What really killed me, especially with the Matrix Reloaded, you know, the thing that sold the first Matrix was it was actors doing all these martial arts moves, and they never had any formal training. I mean, of course, they had training for the movie. But then you jump into the second movie, and they're interlacing CGI. They're interlacing CGI for the fight scenes and stuff. I'm like, no. What sold the first movie was that it was actors who never did martial arts before doing the martial arts here. So it felt like a cop out when they did it in the Matrix Reloaded with the CGI. So really, in essence, I mean, I'm saying the whole franchise, but it'd really be the second and third movie that I'd really just like reboot and just redo. That's what I would do, you know.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I didn't put it on there because I wouldn't know how to reboot it at this point. Besides adding, you know, CGI and better, especially with the one thing I would like it to be more, you know, true to the original story. Like everything after that, like it seems like it started to kind of conflict each other.
Exactly.
And I think that's my problem with the Matrix. As it was going on, it was like, okay, but wait, what, huh?
Yeah,
you're kind of like, wait a second, but I thought it was one way. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'd rather, you know, if you can get somebody to take it and go from like, streamline it, so that way it's an actual storyline from beginning to end. It's great. But here's my question to you on that one. If we would reboot this, would you still put Keanu Reeves?
No.
No.
Actually, I did a fan casting for this a while back on Instagram. Who I would have as Neo would be Keenan Lonsdale from The Flash. I'd make him black.
Wow.
Yes, I'm saying, I would totally agree with to change the color because even the Oracle, I was glad to see that the Oracle was a black woman and not you know that we actually had a little bit more diversity in these movies, which is something we didn't see a lot of at that time. So I was very happy to see that. So I totally agree though that the Matrix should be redone. And if it should be done, it should be done ASAP before people forget it existed.
Yeah.
Because you're coming into a new generation of kids.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is an old show. A lot of you guys probably don't remember. Howard, you might, but WMAC Masters is a show I would reboot.
Oh my God! Stop it!
I would reboot that show. Like, you don't understand. Like, I've been saying for years that I wanted that show to come back at some form. And and my thing is now, I mean, because WMAC Masters was like a Mortal Kombat-like show when it was on.
Yeah.
Like
it reminded me of wrestling with Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what I would probably do, I would probably take it more in the realm of wrestling. So it wouldn't be like a Mortal Kombat-like show. See, I would either take it in the more Mortal Kombat direction, just without no killing and stuff, or take it in like a WWE direction, where, like, you know, they have ring entrances and, you know, things like that, feuds and stuff like that. I've always said that if they rebooted WMAC Masters, they could do it in a form of like WWE. You know, like I know one of the black nerd groups that I'm in, like one of the main black nerd groups that I'm in, we were talking about the show, and I kept saying that this show needs to be remade somehow. In fact, even if it's not a reboot, even if it's like a sequel show to the original, I wouldn't mind doing that. I think that would be pretty dope.
It ended on a cliffhanger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My number 4 would be the Star Wars prequels. And the only real change I would make, there'd be a couple changes I make. For one, Darth Maul doesn't die in the first one, even though he technically doesn't die anyway. He doesn't die anyway.
Right.
He comes back in the Clone War. He comes back in the. He would stay for all three. He would stay for all three movies.
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker would not be a kid in the first movie. He'd be a young adult. He would be a young adult. I would recast
No
Anakin.
Jar Jar Binks.
No Jar Jar Binks. No.
Absolutely not.
No.
You know what I would have appreciated with this, and this is just me. I would have loved more backstory on Jabba, and that whole relationship between Jabba and I can't think of his name, Han. Yeah.
We could have had that, but
yeah.
I'm like, I would have loved that, because just to see, like, you know, how that built, how that started, because like when you go back and you watch like the parody, which is you know, Spaceballs, they kind of sort of do that a lot better than Star Wars did, even though it's the parody.
Yeah.
Right.
But definitely. Sorry, Kendrick.
Like, that's what I would do. I would just make a few minor story and casting changes, but I enjoyed Revenge of the Sith. I enjoyed
Revenge of the Sith was good.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't like whining Darth Vader. I didn't like that. I didn't like that he was an angsty, whiny little kid. I didn't like that. So that's why I said in the Phantom Menace, we don't get introduced to kid Anakin Skywalker. We get introduced to like teenage Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
You know, get introduced to him, and then, you know, Attack.
So you want that in between. You want the cleaner.
Yeah. So like, you know, because like, think about it. It was from the Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones. There was like a major age jump.
Yeah.
He went from like a 10-year-old kid to like a 16-year-old teenager, and I'm like, how long was he gone? Like, no, like, I think just for continuity's sake, that's what I would do.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I think with that too, this is why Disney's trying to fill in a lot of the gaps with the in-between stuff. So I think that's where they're going with this, is trying to do a lot more in-between movies to fill in those like continuity era gaps. So I'm glad that they're rebooting the series. I'm just hoping that they'll just do justice instead of just doing, you know, these you know, add-on movies that don't make any sense at this point. You know, but because I did like what they did with Rogue, how they put that in between, you know, the two movies, and now you're like, it made sense because it filled that gap, and I like that. I just wish they continued to fill the gaps instead of doing new movies. And before you did new movies, fill the gaps first, so that way we all understand where you're going with it, and then work your way backwards from there.
Yeah.
The last thing I would reboot would be Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. That's the only game I would reboot. I honestly feel Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe came out at the wrong time. If they had waited until like the new games came out, like Mortal Kombat 2011 or Injustice, or the Injustice game came out, they would have had a better template to make a good crossover game between Mortal Kombat and the DC Universe.
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
The story
as far as the engine is concerned, or as far as consoles are concerned, as far as the template.
As far as the engine, consoles is concerned and stuff. I mean, nothing. I mean, it wasn't bad on the PlayStation 3, but there's so much more that could have been done with that game. There's so much more.
Right.
Considering how many characters exist in Mortal Kombat as well as Injustice, there's so much more they could have done. I mean, like off the top of my head, like the story for Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe isn't really half bad, but it could have expounded more. And like the other thing is that especially with the arrival of the Injustice game, which in my opinion is one of the best DC storylines they've ever written in years. I love the Injustice storyline. It's one of the best ones they've had. Like, that could very well, I mean, not only could that lead into like an initial Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe game, it could have very well led into like a sequel. So like,
right.
I'm saying I would have rebooted it, but right now, if they really wanted to, they could make a sequel to the game. It would be so much better than the first one. Considering how we have Mortal Kombat X and Injustice 2, it lends to the idea of there being a sequel. Like, I pitched a sequel idea before where, you know, Superman's evil in Injustice. Raiden has kind of gone rogue in Mortal Kombat. What's not to say that we get a sequel where the two of them team up together and try to not only take over the world, but like take over the multiverse. Because they both can do that. And then heroes from the DC universe and heroes from Mortal Kombat have to team up to stop them. That will make a great sequel.
I dig it.
But, you know, that's just me. What do I know? What do I know?
We're only fans, you know.
Right.
You know.
And then, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have to leave.
Oh yeah, so Harold, you go.
That's what I was to say. Yeah.
Okay, I would, as far as, and I did a show about this when the X Zone was called Geeking, Gaming, and Cosplaying with H.B. Gibson. I did an episode called My Idea for a Batman Film. And from what I would do, and this is what I would do, I would take cues from the Arkham games. I would, and I would do something very risky. I would get as close to R as possible implied violence. I would go Saw with it, honestly, and have the Riddler be the main villain and make him a real threat, to the point where when the audience sees that neon question mark, they'll want to back up and not mess with it. You know, because like every neon question mark would have like some kind of a poison dart, like that would shoot out, and the Riddler's goons would gather up whoever it was that gets knocked out and put them in a trap. Put it on like the dark web and say, if you can answer this riddle me this, and they would do a riddle and say, okay, you don't have a whole lot of time. This person's life is in danger, and the police fail each and every time to try to help. So they call for Batman, and Batman does something that he hasn't done in any of his Batman films, really, and show how he is the greatest detective ever. I would make him very, very serious. And every riddle would then be a pattern that would lead up to where Riddler is. And I can really see Batman, and I would have Robin in this too. I would have Robin in it. I could see Batman and Robin at the end of a hallway, and the lights are flickering, and the other end of the hallway is all the Riddler's goons, and there's like traps and stuff like that. And I could just see Batman and Robin looking at each other, and then looking down the hallway, and here comes the guys running after them, and then you see Batman and Robin running towards them, and it would be the greatest hallway fight scene since Daredevil.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's what I would do. I would go Saw with it. I would make, because truth be told, kiddies, Jigsaw was not the first person to create diabolical death traps. Riddler has been doing diabolical death traps since the 1930s.
Ever. Yeah.
All right. So go Saw with it. I would make it a mystery, hardcore, like mystery drama film. You know.
You actually hit the nail on the head, Aaron. I was going to say that if they really want to, they can make a Saw-like Batman movie, and I guarantee you it would do very well.
Yeah.
It would do very well.
Exactly.
Like, Jigsaw sounds like a character that the Batman would try to face. If you really think about it, Jigsaw sounds like a character that the Batman would try to take down. So I think that'd be an awesome movie. That would be a really awesome movie.
And as a Riddler friend, I approve.
Because people don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that the Riddler is actually probably just as dangerous as the Joker.
Yeah. And actually, they're just as diabolical as each other. And They are just as smart. The only difference between the Riddler and Joker is that the Riddler is more calculated with what he does.
Exactly.
Whereas the Joker is like, okay, I'm going to do crazy stuff forever because I just can't. It's not necessarily because it's, necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And but the Riddler, the Joker has the ability to get into Batman's head a lot better than the Riddler does.
Yeah.
In a sense. Yeah. Because, that's like his number one foe. Where the Riddler is like, if he's there, he has the ability to convince people. It's just that people just don't take him as seriously because of the fact that he's gone bad. And let's not mention, the fact that nobody loves Jim Carrey's version of the Riddler.
Yeah.
Right. Because he was too much. He was too much like what's his face.
Yeah.
Like the Joker.
Right.
Yeah. Comedic.
He was like, he was like, is that too over the top? I could never tell. I was like, yeah, it was too over the top, bro. I'm gonna have fun with this one. There was a wonderful little series way back in the day called Knight Rider.
Oh.
What I would do, but the thing was, they didn't do it right. I would have it be a more character-driven show that dealt with Michael Knight and solidify him as who he is, and not just some good-looking spy, who can kick ass. Develop him. Who is Michael Knight? What was he about? I mean, what did he do? And then introduce the car. Subtly introduce the car. And I would do this just for fan service, just because I would nerd out and geek out about this. I had this idea sometime. Agree with me if you will. Don't agree with me. I would do at some point during the series an Arrowverse crossover type of a thing, but it would be a Knight Rider type of a thing. I would take. Now here we go. Knight Rider, Street Hawk, and Airwolf. Call it Team Knight Rider. Call it Team Knight Rider. And go on these hardcore missions. You have the Knight 4000 or the Knight 5000. You have Airwolf. You have Street Hawk. You have all the 80s hyped up vehicle type of characters, and have them come together and call them Team Knight Rider for that one crossover.
I want that right now. I want all that right.
It sounds like
now.
Really good.
I want all that right now. That needs to happen.
All right. Okay. I really wish I didn't have to work today. God. All right. Okay. Here we are. There was a movie called The Last Starfighter. Now this is how I would do it. I would purposely have the film be about this space shooter video game that was released for all the consoles, and purposely write it to where people hate the game, that they think it sucks, that it's terrible, and people are just ripping it apart. But there are a select few that are very, very passionate about it. And the aliens that created this game are listening to these players. They want people passionate about being a starfighter, and those are the ones that are chosen to be starfighters, except for this one person who totally rocked at the game, but didn't really like the game, and he's the unwitting hero that winds up being the starfighter, and he's the one that gets taken up, along with a few others that were really passionate. And the aliens are like, well, we want the people of Rylos. I was like, well, don't we want the players to be passionate about being starfighters? And Centauri is like, I want that one, but he's not passionate. He's the best pilot down there. He's the best one at all the games. And they're like, okay, so they bring him up. It's like, dude, the game sucked. Why would I want to be a starfighter? That sort of thing, like a reluctant hero. But then he winds up being a starfighter. He winds up saving the galaxy. But that's me. I would turn now. Here we go. It might cost a little bit of money. But I think that if they did it the way Walking Dead did it, I think that they can do a pretty decent Aliens series.
Mm-hmm.
Make it about
pre-Alien, or we're talking after we had the whole experience, Alien.
I would say around about like between Aliens and Alien 3.
Okay.
Marines and colonists on another planet trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships between these characters. They're trying to get the hell off this planet. They got to wait for them to be picked up if they're going to get picked up ever. And it's all about them surviving and trying to trusting each other and trying to survive. Who's part of the company? Who's not part of the company? Who's an android? Who's not an android? All the while, the threat of the aliens are all over the place. You get me?
Following you. Yeah.
So and you don't even have to show aliens all the time. Just the threat of them. Yeah. And you can have your face. You can keep it minimal. Have your face huggers. Have your eggs. Have your chest bursters. You know, and make it really about like maybe there aren't really a whole lot of aliens around. There's just a lot of infected people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that.
And even with the androids and how they're just of aliens and how who can you trust, which one to trust? Because you got to like even with Prometheus and all the other stuff, you're talking about the one I forgot his name already. David, I think is his name.
That android,
Yeah, that he's lost his daggone mind.
Right.
And, he's trying to start a new race that's supposed to be more perfect than a human being.
Yeah.
So that would be like the total thing. You have the other androids that are there, and they all look like David, and they're all like, oh, okay, what do we do?
Right.
Like, which one's the right one? Which one isn't? How do we trust them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So,
I can totally see it.
Yeah, and give it, and don't even put the word alien in the title. You know how the planet was called LV-426? Give it a name like that, like LV-741 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Give it a Prometheus feel, so that way you don't know what you're watching or what you're coming up with.
Exactly. Make it creepy, make it dark, and just bring back that feeling of that. When are we going to see an alien? Have it like always be on edge. Yeah. Because the whole thing about the original Alien was you didn't see it that often. The threat was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think I might have one more. No, I didn't have one more. I'm sorry. I only have 4.
Okay.
Cool. I owe you one.
Okay. All right, Kim, it's your turn.
Okay, hold on. Let me get set myself on fire by accident. Hold on a second. All right. My number 1, and again, this is kind of the period piece. Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
With the technology we have today, remaking that movie would be amazing. And the one thing I would change, I'd make the cast more diverse. Give it that Sandlot type of feel where everybody is diverse. But the biggest thing I'd change, Data. Oh my gosh, let's not do that again. Ever.
No, that would be racist. That would be
that is so racist. That is so disrespectful. I mean, the fake accent, the fresh off the boat type of feel. Not every Asian is like that. Please take that away. I would change that entirely. But to remake that and to change that and make that a new type of feel with that movie with the CGI that we have now, oh my gosh, I would be in the theaters like a little kid, my legs crossed. And Mama Fratelli, I don't care who you get, she has to look like her. She has to look just intimidating. She has to look just as, like we have to get that same look, that same feel, that same anger, you know. And I definitely, definitely for the reboot. I mean, there's not much to change. The script doesn't have to change that much. You know, we do have to change a lot of the racistness out of it. You know, I don't even think we have to change the truffle shuffle, to be honest with you. I think, you know, we can still do that. But I definitely think there's not much you need to change. It just needs to be redone. Another one. I'm going to go most of these are 80s films, so bear with me here. The Running Man. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. Yes, that's a no-brainer. Yes.
Yeah. I would totally want that done. Now, technology, change a lot of these scenes out, you know, make them more, you know, now, like, you know, the costumes, change them, please.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Streamline.
But,
more streamlined.
Dynamo,
especially, yeah. You know, make the storyline more, you know, continuous. That continuity error they had with a lot of that. Fill in those gaps. Make that a good movie. I mean, it was a good movie then. It was before its time then. Make it now. Like,
I don't know. Just adrenaline just went through my body, and I mean, yes, Running Man on steroids, just
yes.
There's so much you can do.
All out.
There's so much you can do with it.
Yes. Make it clear, because it's still that gladiator feel. Yeah. You're throwing him under the bus for all the stuff he never did. You throw him into that gladiator. Oh man, the only problem I have, and I maybe even said this, as much as I hate Captain America, I can totally see, what's his name, Chris Evans? Is that his name? Yeah, totally see him playing Running Man.
The Arnold character. Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I can totally see him. But I would love for Arnold to make a reappearance somewhere in there. Yeah. Whether he be one of the gladiators inside the field or something. I would love to see Arnold remake an appearance in that movie. Yeah. As one of the villains.
I would take that. I would definitely take that. I would take that a great deal. The Running Man is one of those movies that is like, it doesn't get a lot of props, but it actually it's a really fun movie. Like when you sit and think about it, it's really fun. You know, so
the '80s films were fun, man.
Yeah, because they had no bars. That's what it is. Like they didn't have all this like everything is like racially driven. Everything is offensive. They just did it. And whatever they did, they just did it, and it was so good, you know. And I think that The Running Man did not get what it was supposed to get, but the movie, like you can't not watch The Running Man when it comes on. Like you have to sit down and watch it, you know. And
Running Man's on like
and that dystopian, this society thing that like you know it kind of relates to now, kind of in a sense, because you're seeing now, you know, like that whole Hunger Games type of society. This is how we get rid of our prisoners, our overcrowding of the jails and the prisons. It all fits. So it's like one of those things. It's like, oh man, like that totally will fit now. All right, number 3, and I think we all would appreciate this. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, not Willy Wonka, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It deserves better than what it deserves better than how it was treated. I'm not crapping on Tim Burton. He's an artist and everything, and he has his own style and stuff like that. I like other things that he's done, but Charlie and the Chocolate Factory deserves a good reboot.
Yeah, because I get what you were doing. You were following the book, which is wonderful, because as a person who's read the book, you get a better understanding, because just like the other, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory focus more on Charlie. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory focus more on Willy. And the thing about it is that when you do that, you made his character creepy. And I'll throw this out there. Johnny Depp is not the only actor out there that can portray a character.
Really?
I understand that's your love child, and that's your baby, but come on now. I'm like, we don't need to see your girlfriend and your
homeboy,
favorite homeboy in every single movie. And I love Carter. I love her to death. I think she's a great actress. I think she's very versatile, but I don't need to see her in every one of your movies.
Yeah.
And I think casting wise it was bad. I think the storyline was done terribly. It's supposed to be a darker, because the book is darker. It's supposed to be darker, but I just think it just needs to be done overall.
The original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that was darker than this one that we got. Because
and Gene Wilder made that character because it was so. A lot of his stuff was improvised. A lot of his stuff, like the boat scene, their reactions to that was exactly the reaction because they didn't know what was happening. And
it was fantastic.
And the danger must be growing because the rollers are still rolling.
You watch that movie. You watch that movie at Madonna. It's like, wow, this movie is really dark.
Yeah.
What were we watching as kids? Like, what the heck is this?
But you still watched it as a kid because even though it was creepy, it was still enjoyable.
Yeah.
The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was like, it's dark and it's just dark.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing enjoyable. Oh, and by the way, the Oompa Loompa, X that. I'm sorry. If you're gonna do this, I'm like, don't try to make it like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Just X the singing part altogether.
Yeah.
Make it a straight movie. No musical, straight movie. And then that way we can get a better idea of the book itself. Because once you take that and make it a musical, it kind of makes it a joke.
Exactly.
All right. Let's see. I think you guys would agree with this one. Constantine.
The movie
I would
or
remake
the show?
The movie.
Yeah.
I'd totally remake it. They did not do it justice at all. It's another one they could have done a lot better. It should be recast. It should be, the storyline has to be a little bit better. Because it was all over the place. It was just too much. One here. Make it an actual series of movies. Make it not just one. Start out with building Constantine, his character, everything else, and then go into the darker, serious part. Just don't throw everything at us because I'm like, if you're a fan, you're like you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I don't want to never see this again, ever, my entire life. But again, as a fan of Keanu, he should not be in that movie.
Well, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I have to bounce. I love y'all to life, and I'll see y'all next time.
Yes, sir.
We gotta work on that because we didn't even get to our topic of discussion yet.
I know.
The news took up a lot of our time. We got a lot of news to go through.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Bye. Enjoy work.
Bye.
Have fun.
All right. I have a couple more left.
Okay.
The next one, Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yes.
Get rid of M. Night Shyamalan. Ding Dong did not do that well at all. Like he does with most movies. It was gentrified completely. The storyline was horrible.
Okay.
The actor that played what is his name? The Avatar.
Aang. Yeah.
Aang,
yes. He was horrible. I'm like, I've never seen such bad acting in my life. It was very like flat. Every performance was just flat. It was just, if you're gonna do it, that should have been another one that should have been done as a series, based upon like the comics themselves or sorry, not the book, but the actual cartoon. Something should have made it so that way there was a series of movies going on and on. But like, you can't get past the first 15 minutes of that movie without like turning it off or walking out of the theater as most people did. So that deserves the right way to be done.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to run through the last two very quickly.
Yeah.
Toys was it's an old Robin Williams movie from like the 80s.
I remember that.
I think it's Toys would be able to be done a lot nicer with the technology we have now, with the actual what's the word I'm looking at? CGI, everything else that we have now, but it needed to be streamlined. That movie was, again, another one that was just all over the place. It was too much. And a lot of people who don't know that movie, it's basically talking about the dangers of militarizing toys. You know, making toys catered to militarized people, making games militarized people. What they were doing is that they were actually taking these and testing them on kids to actually become military weapons. And what the baseline of the story was. And then when Robin Williams' character found out, they tried to stop it because they don't want to ruin the innocence of children. I think that's a very big concept of what's going on now, is a lot of these kids, their innocence are being ruined. So I think that needs to be redone and be brought back in a better sense. And the last one, which is self-explanatory, Cube. Period. The Cube is, I like the movie. The acting, again, was flat. Very flat, very, it was just very bad. A lot of terrible acting made that movie bad for me. Yeah. But I love the concept. I love everything that saw like creation and everything else. Yeah. You know, but it just needs to be done right. And no more of these like half remakes of like crappier movies. Just make one Cube and call it a day. We don't need 15 of them.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Just very quickly, we're going to run through the comments here. Just going back just a little bit.
To the music, because I haven't read the comments from the music either.
Yeah. Somebody said, Daryl Taylor said that he liked the ending song for House of Wax remake. I don't remember that because it's been a while since I've seen House of Wax. Hall & Oates She's Gone rendition of Tavern's version. I guess that's from. Don't know really know what that's from. All I do is think of you. Jackson 5 Troops version. You know, Bloodsport said that Batman needs a reboot and not an origin story. I think we can get away from the origin story with Batman at this point. We all know it now, so we don't need to do it anymore. Superman needs a reboot. I don't think he needs a reboot. I just think he needs a proper movie.
He needs. He needs one that's not just like stuffed full of crap. Yeah, I think for Man of Steel, when I went to go see that, I felt like I was being attacked. Because there was just too much stuff coming at me.
I enjoy Man of Steel. I really enjoy Man of Steel. That's probably one of the only other DCEU movies that I enjoy aside from Wonder Woman. But at this point right now, I'm in the mindset where it's like we don't have to go through the origin story again. And like you said, Kim, we don't need to feel like we're being attacked. We need to. If they had taken elements,
we need to build characters.
If they had
build them, we don't need to build.
Yeah. They could have taken some elements from Superman Returns and threw it into Man of Steel, and Man of Steel would have been even greater. Because Superman Returns wasn't necessarily a bad film. It was just paying too much homage to the Christopher Reeve movies. Brandon Routh actually did okay as Superman. I didn't mind him as Superman, but you know, I think everyone was so wrapped on the Superman actually doing some fighting this time around, which is. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, it's okay. Superman needs to fight. But people got to remember what Superman was about. He was about saving people and helping people. He only fight if the danger was, like, really great. That's it.
Exactly.
You know, Mortal Kombat 2011, I mean, I enjoy the game, so. I have not read the Last Dragon comic, but I will find it. I will look for it.
Can you mute me again?
Huh?
Mute me again.
Mute you? I don't know how to mute you. I don't know what to do. You're muted now.
Okay. He said, what was the last one again before the Last Dragon comic?
Mortal Kombat 2011.
Okay.
Enter the Dragon. I
was going to mention that. I wanted to see a new Enter the Dragon, but I'm kind of partial to the one.
it would really have to be done with all respect, basically, and it have to be done. It could be done, but they got to be very careful with it. They have to be very careful with it. That's the best thing I can say. But I wouldn't mind seeing it. I know they've been talking about it, but I don't know how far they've gotten into as far as like pre-production and stuff. But if they were to remake Enter the Dragon, they'd have to be very careful. Very careful.
Yeah. Mhm.
Said that Shonuff could be like Kimbo Slice. That was the idea I was going with for like the Last Dragon remake, like because Kimbo Slice was a really big thing before he got into mainstream MMA fighting, so it could be something like that. Best of the best could probably work.
Does a character have to actually even be white at this point? I mean, as black at this point, can he be white for Last Dragon?
I mean, really, he could be whatever. I mean, at this point.
Yeah.
You know.
Because it could, like, I was thinking more like, and I hate McGregor. I hate to say that because he's just so aggressive like that.
Yeah.
Like somebody who is like a true like MMA like head, you know.
Yeah. The G.I. Joe, the toy figures need to be rebooted. Trust me, they reboot toys all the time. They literally reboot toys all the time. It just usually takes a while. Just like how they keep bringing out new Transformers toys. I mean, G.I. Joe, if they find an emergence for it, toys will come back from G.I. Joe. That's usually not a big deal. He says Sophia Williams needs to be part of the Matrix reboot. I don't know who Sophia Williams is. I never heard of her.
I don't know who that either.
Is that like a comic book, like, or a
I guess for the movie.
I don't know. I don't know. I maybe like.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, because I'm not too familiar.
I guess Daryl Taylor says Bloodsport. I mean, you can remake Bloodsport.
20 million times. It depends on if it's still going to be good.
Yeah. He said Bloodsport said that the Oracle could be played by Whoopi Goldberg or Angela Bassett. I forgot who I had picked for the Oracle for the Matrix. It might have been Felicia Rashad, but I got to go back. Daryl says he also would like to see a Silverhawks reboot. I mean, a lot of reboots are dependent on how popular they were for its time. Silverhawks, I didn't watch a lot of, and I don't know if there's too many fans of Silverhawks out there. When it comes to rebooting something, I usually look at a property that was like really good for like a good stretch of time, and then fizzled out. And then a reboot is because a reboot is meant to bring back the energy of that franchise from before. A live-action Thundercats movie, they've been talking about that for like years. I don't know how it's going to go down, but I think that would be interesting to see. He says that you just run off things. Bionic Woman 2007, Mask, Action Man, Lost Boys, Villain. Bloodsport says Enter the Dragon.
Somebody said Lost Boys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Daryl Taylor.
Yeah. I know the original Lost Boys was something special. So.
Yes, I'm saying I don't know because it's another hard one to kind of reboot without kind of changing so much of it at this point.
Oh, Sophia Stewart. You said Sophia Williams. Did you mean Sophia Stewart? Bloodsport, because she was the original writer of the Matrix, so I would definitely want her to be a part of it. That's for damn sure. And I mean, as far as comments is concerned, because it's 12:40 now, so we kind of gotta rush to our main topic of discussion so we can end this thing off in a timely fashion. And like I said, our main topic of discussion is making a content creator.
So,
yeah.
Then it's already 8, so we're pretty much good on that aspect. So
okay.
You want to keep going.
All right. So
yeah, he made himself something.
Okay. So the reason why I wanted to talk about making a content creator is because the past couple of years has been like a boom of content creators, coming out, not just like YouTube, not just like people on YouTube, but like, people on Twitch, even, Facebook is giving leeway to people who want to make content and stuff. And at this point right now, while it can be very hard to get into mainstream entertainment, one of the best, I guess, back doors into getting into there is being a content creator. Like, if people can see that you can put something together visually on whether it's like a movie, a show, or something music related or something like that, you're bound to get noticed at some point, depending on how good what you're doing is. So I just wanted to cover a few things as far as what a content creator is, because myself, Harold, Katanni, even you, Kim, you're going to be getting into it also, and Matthew. We're all content creators and one.
Well, technically, I've been a content creator before it was called a content creator.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much what I've been doing for 12 years.
Yeah. So like the first thing I have is, what is a content creator? And the term content creator really started being used around the time YouTube's big, content creator boom happened. And people just started calling them content creators. But the truth is, content creators have existed forever. Any person who wrote, directed, or produced a movie, a song, a piece of art, whatever, those are all content creators. We call them, musicians or filmmakers or writers and producers and stuff. But at the end of the day, all those people are content creators. And again, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a screenplay, a song, a whole album, whether it's a piece of art or it's a logo that's designed for somebody else, all of those things count as content creation. Those count as content. So I want people to get out of this idea that when you hear the term content creator, you're just thinking of YouTube. That's not the case anymore. Not in 2018. Anything that someone can look at, listen to, touch, anything that gets an emotional reaction out of something is content, and therefore that person is a content creator. So we have to keep that in mind. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to become content creators themselves, whether it's writing, drawing, acting, stunt, graphic design, anything like that. There's always stepping stones to things like this. So, you have to figure out what type of content are you trying to create. Whether you're a guitar player or if you're a singer, or if you're someone who makes props, if you make like special effects props and things like that, if that's your area of expertise as far as content, that's where you start. Excuse me. I would say start with wherever your strongest at. And if you're not really sure of where your strongest at, always consider, I guess I would say pick out something that people talk about you doing the most. You guys can, let me know if I'm going in the right direction or anything.
Yes, you are. So, like I said, content creator is a new term, but content creators, as Ken said, have been around for a while, and everyone has a different role on the creation of content. With me, for my role in content creation has always been visually. That's what I do for a living. As a designer, but what people also have to think about as a content creator, especially YouTubers who want to do this as a job or as a career, is that you have to still treat it like a business or a job. And I think what a lot of people don't understand, we're talking. I know you're talking. I know you thought of this topic, and pretty much with YouTubers in mind, correct?
Well, not so much.
Even
YouTubers. Yeah,
okay.
Not so just anyone really, and
okay.
Basically anyone in the creative field, basically.
Okay. But all right, so but for now, just I'll use this as one example. A YouTuber. Yeah. I think what a lot of people don't understand about content creation or about YouTube specifically as a career is that it, a lot of people didn't. Maybe I'll say less than 5% of people might have just put one video on YouTube and it just happened to go viral, and now they found a way to capitalize off of that. Most YouTubers and most content creators on YouTube have decided to dedicate themselves to creating content consistently, treating this as a job, treating it as a brand, building their audience, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
So what people, I think the main thing that people need to understand with content creators is that, even though we like what we do, and if we could do it all day every day, and some people do it all day every day, it is still a job.
Yep.
And if you are thinking about becoming a content creator, you have to treat it as such. And if you don't know what to do to really get started, you can seek out the help of people who are already doing this, who are already in this industry, and see what you can do and see what they can do to help you.
Mm-hmm. That's like me, for instance. Like, I'm always I think we were talking about this earlier, Kendrick, as far as like streaming and stuff, right?
Yeah.
For me, my biggest thing is that the technology is different. The technology has changed, a lot since I was younger. So I have to relearn everything. So, I'm always consistently asking, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? How do we take care of this? Because I don't know. And, being a person who's trying to start up a channel, and build their content, asking questions doesn't hurt. You can always ask questions. You can always get the information. It's not as easy as some people think. It could be a Google search or anything like that, but sometimes it's just not that easy.
Yeah.
And you sometimes have to be willing to accept help and, to reach out. And sometimes when you reach out to people or whatever, like, they're willing to answer because they're willing to help other people build their content.
Yeah.
So, definitely reaching out, asking questions, getting the information will definitely assist you in making sure that you have the right content.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that actually, and Kim, you brought up an interesting point, because sometimes you may need help in trying to figure out how you're supposed to go about doing it. And, these are always questions that you have to ask yourself, especially if you're just starting out. You got to ask yourself a couple of questions before you start getting into it. You got to figure out first of all, who's gonna be your target audience? Who are you, going after? Because, most people will probably say they're going after, especially in the beginning, they say they're going to go after any audience that'll watch. But eventually you'll have to sit down and ask yourself, who do I want to really attract to what I'm doing? Like,
yes, and that's my biggest thing. Even when that's actually a question. I have a question when I take on clients. I have a questionnaire. One of the questions is, who is your target audience? And they say, I want to sell to everyone, or I want to market to everyone, or I want everyone to watch my channel. And no, you don't.
Yeah.
You need to find your audience, and you need to find a way to connect with them.
Yep.
And, you have to, because you have to create content that speaks to them.
Yeah.
Think about, we are in the age of me. What's in it for me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, why does someone want to buy your product? Why does someone want to hire you for whatever service you're offering? Why does somebody want to watch your YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure out you have to figure out why someone wants to pretty much buy what you're selling.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with videos as well. And you have to know who your audience is. Like, for example, there are things that Ken watches on YouTube that I have no interest in watching whatsoever. I'm not their audience.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. There are things that I'll randomly watch on YouTube that he will never watch. There are things that my friend's daughter watches and my friend's daughters watch, and I have no idea what they're doing on YouTube. But I'm like, why are you watching this? This is the most boring thing ever. But that's their but those little kids is that particular channel's audience.
Mm-hmm.
And and I think sometimes when you actually think about what you like to do personally, sometimes we forget that even though you may like something, you may think it's weird, you may think it's awkward, there's people out there that like the same thing that you like.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And sometimes that is your content. Sometimes that is what you do. Because a lot of people may not have that outlet to have somebody to be able to look at and go, okay, this is what I want to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that enters into the realm of, why are you creating it? That's another important question that you gotta ask yourself is, why are you
why.
Yeah, why are you creating videos like this, or why are you creating drawings like this, or why are you making this type of music? Because as Tani was just saying, if you're one of those people that's trying to cater to everyone, it's not always going to work out that way.
Yes. And we're seeing huge, even major corporations failing because they're trying to cater to everyone instead of sticking to their target audience. I feel like Apple went down because of that.
Mm.
They're not failing. They're not failing by any means, but I feel like they have gone down in the respect of having a Mac computer back in the day. You used to be a part of this like exclusive club that only artists, artists, photographers, graphic designers, musicians were a part of. And then when I started, appealing to the masses, like every person I know who got a MacBook, who's not a creative, hates their MacBook.
And the other thing is that especially with stuff like that, they were focused more on creating the same thing versus catering, because that's why Windows kind of succeeded, because they created things that were easy to use by a lot of different people and customizable and stuff like that. So they, like you said, they went above and beyond for their customer base. But I really think a lot of it has to do with money too with Apple. A lot more for an inferior product. But that's.
I mean, I know people who still running with their MacBook that they bought in like 2005. I don't know a PC that would last that long, but
I have one.
Okay.
I have one. But the benefit is, the thing is that one thing I love about PCs is that I can go buy the replacement part and replace it myself. I don't have to worry about it depending on anybody else to do it, because I can just go in there like, okay, my hard drive died, no problem. I'm going to get another hard drive and pop it in. I can reformat it. It makes it easier for somebody who is technical to do it. If you got an Apple, you have to go to the Apple store. You got to, take it in, let them take it, let them replace it, let them do all the parts. I pop my laptop open all the time, and replace stuff.
Over the years, I have learned to replace different things. When I had a MacBook, I miss my MacBook, but at the same time, I feel like their products have gone down over the past few years. And I was like, if MacBook doesn't get it together in the next year or so, my next computer is going to be like a Surface Pro or something. I'm trying to hold out. Then have them get their stuff together, but they're not.
No, and it's hard, with a lot of that stuff. But that's, again, going back to the whole content thing, is that, they like you said, they had a niche. They should have stuck with their niche because their niche were people that needed it for that product. Now, you'll see more and more artists and things like that with, Windows products and things of that nature because number one, they're building more products for that. A lot of programs are coming out for Windows because they're easier to make. You have a lot more variety there. So and it's not, and cost wise, they're more affordable. They're more affordable. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of laptops, the next laptop that I need, both the Mac and the PC are expensive. The PC is cheaper, but it's still dumb expensive.
But it probably has more product in it, doesn't it? It comes with a lot more. It comes with a lot because you get what you pay for with one versus the other one. You're kind of just paying for the name.
But mine is I just need more RAM, more gigahertz, more RAM, more gigahertz just to run my design software and to run multiple programs simultaneously so I could just easily go back and forth. My current one kind of hiccups a bit.
But that's another thing where Windows kind of excels because I can pop open if I had a desktop again, I could pop open my desktop and add it in myself. I can reformat and add it in. So those are the things where you know your brand. People that buy Windows products usually buy them, especially people who build. They usually build Windows-based computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna buy them because you can customize it the way you want it to, and you can build them. You can build your laptop the way you want to. You don't have to worry about just buying a product the way it is and having to deal with it the way it is. But like I said, that's the custom. That's the thing. They know their base. They know who to customize, but they're able to cater to all walks of life. Because of the fact that they actually built a niche in every one of their products. So they actually built it so that way they can have one. This one can have this. This one can have that. You can build it to have that. And that's kind of something where catering to all kind of works in a sense because you're actually building niches within your actual company. So you're building a niche, for every type of product that you provide.
Yeah. I think another example of a brand kind of losing it when catering to when trying to cater to the masses, so to speak, is Shea Moisture.
Oh yes, that was bad. That was bad. Oh my gosh. I mean, I even stopped using Shea Moisture products because it was that bad for me. I
never used Shea Moisture products, but my mom did. I feel like, first of all, I always felt like Shea Moisture's products was for people with a looser hair texture anyway, and mine isn't as tight as other people's, but my mom has a way looser hair texture than I do, and hers worked for her. But then we see this woman with wavy hair talking about how let's
call it as it is. It wasn't wavy. Some of them were even straight. But let's call it how it is. Let's flat out say they can't. If anybody does not know what happened, Shea Moisture originally is a black-owned company, and they usually catered to black hair. The products usually were shea-based, natural-based, all this stuff came out, and we ate it up because it was for us. So we tore it up because I have a tight curl pattern. My hair loves Shea Moisture. It's just some people's hair doesn't react well to Shea. I do know that.
I've loved your hair from the second I met you.
But it's all depending, and it's when they came out with this one commercial, all of a sudden it was like the gates of hell opened and everything let out. And the commercial basically showed everyone, which I know what they were trying to do. It showed everyone using their product.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I'm sorry.
What I noticed is that, and they said they never changed their product itself, but what I noticed is that Shea Moisture stopped working for me. It stopped working in my hair. And they said, oh, yeah, no, we didn't change anything. We didn't change the product. We didn't change it. But I'm like, if we didn't change it, then how come it doesn't work anymore?
Yeah. And, I mean, and on the flip side, if we're going to go with just to give an example of like a direct competitor succeeding at catering to, I'll say, quote unquote, the masses is Pantene. Because they have separate products for different hair types.
Exactly.
And they market it differently because you have to. Every marketing tactic is not going to work for every demographic.
But they also separated their product because they knew their product base was either going to be one or the other.
Exactly.
So knowing that they needed their Shea Moisture product because they realized we can't use their product. We can't use regular Pantene in our hair. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But when they realized that, they went and changed everything, you know. And you have other companies like As I Am and stuff like that. Those companies are out there, you know, competing with, you know, Shea Moisture and all these other things, and it's kind of a kick in the face to a lot of people when Shea Moisture did what they did. But definitely your brand makes a difference because once you ruin your brand, that it's hard to recover from it.
Exactly. This was last example was back in college because I had to do a case study on this. Oldsmobile, when they started trying to cater to younger people, and I think their tagline was even "Not your father's Oldsmobile."
Yeah.
They pretty much lost their audience, but. And I kind of get what they were trying to do. I mean, older people are eventually going to die, and they're not going to buy your cars because they're not here anymore. But once that generation is unable to drive anymore, then there's a new generation of people in your age bracket that you normally market to. So I don't know where they went with that, but long story short, Oldsmobile doesn't exist anymore. So.
You know, and even examples of channels. What's that guy's name that messed up his brand? Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Logan Paul is another good example of how to mess up a brand. He had a channel that was very popular amongst kids and, you know, young adults. I personally don't watch his content. I thought it was over the top and outrageous. Yeah. But they loved it. They loved that over the top, you know, nonsense. And he messed up his brand by doing one stupid thing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a couple stupid things, but one in particular was that was going to that forest in Japan.
Yeah.
You know, and making fun of the people and, you know, showing true colors. And you really have to, that's another thing when you have a brand and when you're developing a brand, you have to make sure you're very careful about your content and about what you say and how you present yourself outside of that content because that can also ruin the illusion.
Exactly. I mean, if you start out being controversial and that's how you built your brand and that's what people love you for, then stick with that.
Yeah.
But if you are, you know, I feel like a lot of time when a lot of, you know, channels, companies, brands fail is that you have to keep a delicate balance of knowing who your audience is and knowing when to change with the times. And in all honesty, you kind of have to let your audience guide that. Like if you're noticing a shift in your audience, then you kind of have to reevaluate them and see how your audience is. And I think that's what this is another hang up I have with a lot of clients of mine. And I did a video on this a while ago in my Facebook group that your business, your brand, your what you're creating, even though it's your baby and you're super excited about it and you're super attached to it, it's really not about you.
Yeah.
Your brand is not about you. Your brand is about your audience and how your audience perceives you. A lot of people think their brand is their logo and your colors and your, you know, whatever like graphics you use and all of that. That's a part of your visual brand. But your brand is really about what your audience thinks of you. So, like for example, I have quite a few brands, and you know, I have a clothing brand that I've been really neglecting, but I'll eventually get back to it. And I wanted my brand to be for, like, someone around my age who, because especially since my clothing was on the pricier side, someone around my age, for tall women, that, nobody makes cute clothes for tall women, and I wanted to be more of like a lifestyle brand. So I had a bunch of these sayings that tall women either say out loud or think in their head when people say stupid things to them, and all of that. But every time I did ran ads to kind of test the market, the people who resonate with my brand the most were people ages 13 to 17. Yet I'm trying to but I'm trying to market to like 30-year-olds and stuff when I really need to make my brand a brand for teenagers. So then that's when I had to think like, oh, I need to rethink this, and I need to know how to talk to that audience because that's the audience that I'm attracting.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And eventually, sometimes, even though you may attract a certain audience, eventually, sometimes, things come in and things change. Those young women or young men become, adults.
Exactly.
So
they can grow up on it.
They can grow up on it, and sometimes you have to change your content with that as well, because you have to understand that your content has now changed your audience, and you no longer, even when you get older, you may want to make a change in content. You may have a change of opinion,
Yeah.
You have to kind of consider all of that into what you're doing, because that's one of my things is that as I got older, things that I enjoyed changed.
Yes. We were actually talking about making that a topic.
But not to go into it now. It's like you have to now think about your brand in that point. Can you do something that's going to last and it's going to last forever, in your opinion? Like, even like your political views change. Can you do something based upon, politics for so long? That may change with the time. That may, you may end up, losing faith or losing, your decision making in that sense.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to be able to get something that's going to last over the time that you think you're going to be doing this. One of the people I personally admire online, through the YouTube feeds and everything else, and I know he himself is his own biggest fan, from what I hear, is Adam the Woo. Adam the Woo is like originally started off as a content. His content was abandoned urban exploring, and he had to change his content because of something happened, and he had to end up changing his content. He got in a lot of trouble for it, and he had to learn how to do something different. So now he does a lot of daily videos, daily stuff like that. But he had to learn. That was a hard transition, because he had to make another channel entirely to change his content. And I think that, is a good, good example of how, as you get older, your content now has to change, because he can no longer keep getting in trouble and keep doing all this stuff because he's aging, So for me, I totally see, the benefits, the downsides to both sides of having specific content or having just one piece of content.
Yeah. I think another point that we should make about anyone who is thinking about becoming a content creator on YouTube is that you have to remain consistent. Even if no one is watching your videos, remain consistent. That's partly how Ken built his channel when he, the first couple of months of him building his channel and creating videos, he didn't get that many views. He didn't have that many subscribers. Nobody was watching his videos, and now he has nearly 10,000. And it keeps climbing.
I think that's how a lot of them start out that way, because you have to also market it as well. So you have to do a lot of marketing. You have to do a lot of people talking. That's where I think I'm going to have a problem with, because I'm not necessarily a people person. But, you know, when you go to events, when you go to Comic-Con, when you go to stuff like that, you have to kind of market yourself and your content. And that's why I say a lot of times when you do that, you have to make sure you present yourself in a way that represents your content. So if you are, you know, just throwing it out there, if you're doing holy content and you're doing just, you know, religious stuff and everything else, you can't go around cursing up a storm, drinking and smoking and, you know, expecting people to actually watch your content. Like, no, you can't do that. You kind of have to...
And what they see, unless they see you doing something like that, and it's like, wait, that's the person that we want to see. We want to see that person. We don't want to see the person who's nut. We want to see the person who's drinking and smoking. That's what we want to see.
And then that's when you have to now realize what your audience is and stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I remember there was this one woman who did Bible study, and she always had like one boob out. Like, it was just out. Like, totally exposed. Like, people in the comments telling her that, you know, she got one showing. And I think that was just her way of bringing an audience in. And I'm like, oh, she did this on purpose. Okay.
That kind of ties into the next part of this, where it's like, when, where, and how are you going to create your content? Because, you know, we talked a great deal about placating to a niche audience or whatever it is that you're trying to make, but now it comes to the point where it's like, you know, now you got to find the time, you got to find a place, you got to find out what do you need to create that content. And I'm just gonna come out and say it, that no business makes money without you putting out money into it. I mean, even if it's something as simple as just making YouTube videos, you know, there's a great deal of people that I follow on YouTube, you know, that have talked about how over time they had to put out money to get a better camera, get a better microphone, you know, get a proper setup, you know, for you know, their videos. But the term is, you have to spend money to make money, and that's essentially what it comes to. Like, you think musicians aren't playing with like an old ass guitar for like a few years before they can afford to get a new one? But they eventually get a new one, because essentially they can't keep using that same material anymore. And you have to be willing. First of all, you have to go in with that understanding that you're going to have to make, you know, not purchases, but investments into your content creation. You know,
exactly.
They just talked about, like, you know, how for a long time Apple was the go-to computer for making things visually related, but now PC's trying to catch up. Even so, that is still an investment that needs to be made in order for you to get the best out of the content that you're trying to create. Where you can create this content, that is entirely up to you. I do, like right now, majority of the videos I do in my karate school, because it's quiet, there's nothing behind me distracting, and, you know, I can do it uninterrupted. You know, a lot of people do it from home. A lot of people, you know, make things from home. They have, like, you know, my dad, he has his own music studio in his house. You know, and I know he spent like a pretty penny putting that thing together, but again, that's what it has to come down to. You know, it's not always about.
I want to add to that we're not saying that you need to pour a whole bunch of money into a whole bunch of different things before you start.
Right.
I know a lot of people, you know, get caught up in that too. Well, because even in my profession, you know, people kind of balk at the price that I charge for logos, or for, like, you know, for complete branding packages and stuff. Yeah. Which I was like, first of all, I'm cheaper than an agency, but I'm going to be more expensive than a student, because I have 12-year experience. or some people talk about, all right, so the biggest things in my business are logo design and web design right now.
Yeah.
So, and people thought that somebody said, oh, I spent like $10,000 on a website and it did nothing for me. And I'm not going to go into detail, but I asked her to describe what it did, and apparently she just spent money on a pretty website. There was nothing there was no lead generation. There was no sales. There was no lead generation. There was no sales funnel. There was nothing in the website to work on her behalf to get her customers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it doesn't matter how much you spend on anything if you don't work. If you are not going to have a marketing strategy behind it. Yeah. I tell people, I handle the design portion. I said the design is just making it look pretty. You have to have a strategy and a marketing plan behind it, because your pretty packaging and your pretty logo doesn't mean anything if nobody knows you exist.
Exactly. And it's
so you
funny.
want.
Yeah. You're saying?
And now they want to blame the designer because they didn't get new customers after they got their logo revamped. I'm like, well, it's not just about doing that. You got to do other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to do at that point, because it's like, okay, because I couldn't figure it out, and again, because I'm starting out, I can understand it a little bit better as to what's going on. It's easier to blame the person who's helping you than it actually is to blame yourself for not coming up with the idea. That's the reason why it's taking so long for me to upload my content or do anything, because I want something very specific. And in order to do that, I need to actually stick to my guns and actually be like, well, this is what I want. This is what I want my content to be. And, you can't blame the messenger for, for what's going on. Like, they're trying to basically say, oh, yeah, well, because Connie didn't provide me what I wanted. No, she did. You just didn't know what you wanted. It's like a relationship. You didn't know what you wanted. You just wanted.
Yes.
Right.
And I'll give another example, because Ken, aside from being on YouTube, he does private martial arts lessons, private boxing lessons, and things of that nature. Almost like a personal trainer, but more specialized. And there is a personal trainer client that I do have, who I was not even doing a full website on. It was just a landing page. And the thing is, being so caught up, and she said something to the point of, I can't pass out my business cards until this landing page looks perfect. Meanwhile, Ken, who bought his domain last year, but since I'm not really charging him for his website, I haven't had a chance to really do it yet. Yeah. So because I have to focus on, and he understands, I have to focus on things that are making me money. And but the thing is, in the meantime, I think he has a profile on lessons.com, and I think he passes out flyers, and he has his business cards, and he just tells anybody who will even pretend to listen what he does. And then, until he gets his website up. Like, I see a lot of this with my consultations as well, that people get so caught up in looking perfect that they don't want to start.
Yeah.
You don't have to look perfect to start. There are people out here looking raggedy as ever, making more money than me.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I guess it depends on what your content is. Because if you're, like I said, I have two different things going on right now at the same time. So one of them has to be perfect, because if I don't, it's just not going to be right. But yeah. But I think when you do like YouTube or Twitch or anything when you do Twitch, especially Twitch, you just start out. You just do it. I think, in your opinion, you just kind of go with it, and you just build up people from there. But with YouTube, I think you have to think about it a little bit more, because you just can't throw anything up there. Especially now, because
I mean,
I was like, what is that?
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, because these days, especially with the way YouTube is set up now, they've done a lot of things. I mean, some of them are good things to help content creators, but a lot of them, kind of not hinder, but maybe create a few blocks for people that content create on YouTube. Because, I mean, hell, when I started this thing out, I just grabbed my cell phone, propped it up, and I just started recording myself.
Yeah, but you knew what you were gonna record before you recorded it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's the thing, is that some people just don't know. They'll just get up on there and they're like, I'm gonna do whatever and work it. But like, I get that, and if it works, it works. But I think sometimes, like, if you know exactly what you're gonna do before you do it, it works a lot better.
Well, it goes back to the point where it's like, what type of content are you trying to create? And it's not just about like whether it's a movie or TV show or music. Like, what exactly? Like, if it's just one thing, like if we're talking strictly on YouTube, what kind of YouTube videos are you trying to produce and post up on YouTube? Look at someone like look at Hal. Look at Hal with the X Zone, and a lot of it, predicated around comic books. He does a Black Lightning after show where he discusses what happened in the episode. He also does retro gaming where he talks about old school games from like back in the day, and he shares his opinion on it. I mean, you aren't right in the sense that if you're just throwing just anything up there, hoping one of them will stick, it does become an issue because, and as a content creator, I can say this, your audience, depending on what your target audience is, can be fickle at times. It is what it is. It is what it is. Your audience can be with you at one point, and then they can be totally into something else at a different point.
Exactly.
It's what happens.
We were talking about this yesterday because I said I want to throw my whole group away. Yes, I'm talking to you guys, winners.
It is what it is. So that's why it's almost still kind of important that you kind of figure out what your target audience is. But you also, well, actually, let's jump into the pretty much the last, almost the kind of the last part of the conversation. So, like, the pros and cons of content creating. So, like, starting with the pros. The pros are that, if this is something that you want to do creatively for a long time, and you're actually able to do it, that's probably one of the biggest pros, because you're right.
Yeah, I just need to move.
Okay. Because one of the content creating, being a content creator is essentially being an artist. And as we all know, for the past couple of years, we've always been told that artists don't make money, which I think is just crap, in my honest opinion. Artists do make money if you find the right audience, you find the right, content to bring to them. Artists do make money.
Exactly.
It just so happens is that the problem is that when people come to you for a service for art, they want to pay you the minimum that they can instead of paying you the most of what you're worth. That's the problem. So that's one of the cons of being a content creator. That's one of the cons. People are going to try to take advantage of you as much as they can. But the fact that you're getting the chance to create this content is definitely one of the biggest pros. Another pro... And
I think that's what Johnny was saying as well, as far as being part of the me generation.
Yeah.
What's in it for me.
And then another pro is it takes a while. Again, one of the cons is that it takes a while, depending on who you are. Some people, they can take off right away. Other people, it's a slow burn. More often than not, it's usually a slow burn to get to where you want to be. But the plus side, one of the pros is that if you put out the right piece of content and the right person sees or hears that piece of content, you might be in there somewhere. I'm just thinking about, my time I spent, just now getting into the entertainment industry outside of YouTube. Meeting a lot of the, making friends with a lot of actors, like, a lot of indie actors and, I guess amateur actors and stuff, and filmmakers and all that. And, you tend to build connections in that way. Whether it's acting or a musician, or even just plain art, if you find the right person that is looking to essentially invest in you, and they have no reason to doubt that your product is not going to be top notch, that's a win. That is like one of the best wins that you can get, aside from just making it completely on your own. But again, there are times that you have to be careful, because if you put out the wrong piece of content, after they take a chance on you, they'll probably drop you. Not with no second thought, they'll probably drop you. We talked about Logan Paul, a guy who had an extremely popular YouTube channel. I mean, to a degree, I guess it still kind of is. I don't hear much about it because I don't follow him. But
it got to the point where he even got banned from YouTube.
Exactly. When it gets to the point where you do something that you thought was going to be entertaining and it ends up not, they will drop you. And the thing you have to understand is, like, a lot of these big corporations that are, like, I guess, sponsoring you or paying you, if at the end you're a bad look for the company, you're out. That's pretty much it. And we've seen it happen all over the place. Exactly. If you do something that goes against the image of the company, you're done. And like, even if you're, like, collaborating with friends on something, if one of you does something that goes against what the group is trying to put together, then you're out. That's just the way it works. I mean,
because anything can make, especially now, because we're in that sensitive society.
Yeah.
Anything can change the outlook of a group, outlook of a channel, outlook of anything. So yeah, definitely.
One thing I will say to that, though, I mean, if there's something that you really wholeheartedly believe in, even if the general public may not, I mean, I think you need to be fully aware of the backlash you're going to receive.
Yes.
And if you have enough confidence in your own following, then you're not going to lose them. My biggest thing is, I said, even Trump has supporters.
Yes.
Die hard.
Mm-hmm.
So over a cliff supporters.
The thing is also, it's your presentation of it as well. Sometimes your presentation of the information, like, you can say the most unpopular thing, and sometimes the way you say it, people are like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
They'll take it or leave it.
Exactly.
I think that's a lot. I think that goes back when we were talking about the nostalgia police and the things of that nature.
Yeah.
I think we talked the same thing. It's all about how you say it, not what you say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There are a great deal of pros and cons, but at the end of the day, you have to decide: you're probably just wondering, is it worth it at all? Honestly speaking,
it's only worth it if you say it is.
Yeah.
It's also depending on the time you have, the time and the ability you have to dedicate to it.
Now,
if you don't have it, you don't have it.
No. Yeah. The reason why I say it's only worth it if you say it is because there are a lot of people who just don't have a lot. The thing is, doing anything for yourself, whether you're an artist, business owner, entrepreneur, actor, musician, doing something, YouTuber, doing something for yourself and making money for yourself. That's where your money comes from. You don't have a regular 9-to-5. That's every single person I know who is doing that has a different mindset from the average 9-to-5 person. And so when I say it's only worth it if you say it is, that's really the best way I can say it, because people will probably, if I probably like explained, my journey as a business owner and entrepreneur from 2007 to 2018, that's 11 years, the average person might not say that's not even worth it. But to me, it is.
Yeah.
Because I know that there is bigger and better. Like, I'm not gonna it's a long roller coaster story, but I'll say in the simplest terms, there are, in terms of revenue and money made, there are months where I've made 8, 9, 10, 12 grand in a month, and then there are other months where I've made 0. And you really, and in those months where you don't make as much as you normally do, you just have all these emotions. You feel like a loser. You feel like this. You feel like that, and you feel like that this is not going to work. But then you kind of have to snap out of it and be like, no, this has to work because I don't want to be at a job. I really don't. And so I have to think about those moments that when I made 8, 9, upwards of 12 grand a month, and think about what did I do at those moments? How do I think differently? How do I get back to that? And how do I get better from there? And what do I need to do to provide more consistency in my business? You have to think about what is wrong, even if there's nothing wrong, even if things are going great for you. You have to figure out what will keep that momentum. One thing I found out with a lot of YouTubers, they're saying that their subscriber count is down, their views are down. All right, so what are you going to do to combat that if this is your job?
Yeah.
What are you going to do to combat that and figure out how to get your numbers back up again?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
And you have to keep at it, because if you don't keep at it, or if you keeping at some point you do have to know how to throw in the towel, but not throw in the towel meaning I say quit. Unless it's something you really just don't want to do anymore, then by all means quit. But if it's something that you do want to do, but you can't seem to make it work, then you just have to kind of re-strategize and retweak and redo to figure out how it's going to work. An example of that I have is the guy who made Pokemon Go. I found out that, researching that guy, I found out that his concept for Pokemon Go was made in 1996 when GPS wasn't really even thought of on the consumer level. But he knew that he wanted to create a location-based game. And, people say Pokemon Go made, 20 million in a week or something? No. He made 20 million in about 20 years. Because he had to rethink and re-strategize and think about how he was going to make something work when the technology didn't even exist at the time that he thought of the game.
Makes sense. But I'm going to let you guys go because I have to take care of something here. It's getting a little late.
Yes, it is.
Actually, we're getting ready to wrap this thing up because it's 1:34 right now. I didn't think we would go this long. I mean, we had that little snafu in the beginning, but try to get on with the rest of our days and stuff and all that. But I'm just add one more thing to the topic of discussion. I'm just saying, like, even me as a YouTuber, I started out with the intentions of making this a full-time career, and I was on it. Katanni knows that I was on it on it. Like every day I was recording multiple videos, within a day and posting them up, Essentially, after a while, that wasn't really a lucrative thing, subscriber numbers. I mean, they get up there, but it was a slow burn. I wasn't making as much money as I was in the beginning, so I had to, re-strategize myself. As you can see, I didn't quit YouTube. I just had to redirect my energy into, focusing on something that's going to make me more money. Because at the end of the day, we're all trying to get paid. Let's be real here. Which is another thing. Let me just make that perfectly clear. We cannot be afraid to say that we're out here trying to make money. We have to. If you're saying that you're creating content because you enjoy creating content, that's cool. But don't make somebody.
If you're like a doctor who wants to also be a YouTuber, cool. You're a doctor. You can still pay your bills.
Yeah. Do not make someone try to make you feel bad for wanting to collect some revenue from what you do. Again,
especially on YouTube, because YouTube is one of those things where they allow that.
Yeah. Like the Joker said, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah.
All right. So don't let someone try to shame you into making money. that's the worst thing somebody can do. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are worse things that somebody can do to you, but don't let someone try to make you feel ashamed for trying to earn some money. No. And any YouTube that says that they're really trying to make money, I give them props because they're being honest. They're trying to make money.
And top dollar. Because
Exactly.
you know, especially as an artist, you know, if you want to charge, if you want to charge $10,000 for whatever you're selling, and you feel that it's worth that because of the time and the quality of the materials that you use and all the other stuff is, you know, makes it worth $10,000, then you charge that. When people say, "Oh, I can get this for $100," that's very nice, sir. Go contact that person that will sell it to you for $100.
Exactly.
Don't make someone feel bad. I mean, don't let someone make you feel bad because you want to charge top dollar for what you're doing.
Yep.
You feel like your time is worth that, so you do it.
Yep. Exactly. That being said, we're going to wrap this show up. I want to thank everyone who participated and tuned in. Not too many people participated in the assignment, so I guess we could call that an F on them, maybe something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you know what? That's a good thing because we already spent too much time talking about our own, and if we would have went through everyone's, we would have been here all night.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but just letting everyone know before we even get done with it, though, you must go to the page and like the page. Why? Because you might be doing a giveaway really soon for you guys, and actually you might just do it today. Actually, I might just do it today. So you know what? Go to the page. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah, come like the page because we're gonna do a giveaway today. We're gonna start that today, and like, share. You know, make sure you have everything on your follow on so that way you get all the posts and all the notifications of when we're actually gonna be.
Yeah.
And definitely like and subscribe. Kendrick's page, Matthew's page, Harold's page. Take a look at Katanni's website and everything else. Take a look at everything because you know what? You never know. You know, one of them might be hosting it on their page one day or their on their sites or whatever. So you want to make sure that you know and you like and you follow us so that way we can keep you in the loop on everything. With that being said, Kendrick.
We will be back in 2 weeks. The next subject we're going to cover is one that should be very interesting. We're going to be covering the shared universe. I had originally called this like the cinematic universe, but I realized that the shared universe is just not relegated to just movies. There are actually many different TV shows that cover a shared universe and cartoons. So we're going to talk about the shared universe. You know, why some of them work, why some of them don't. And this is going to be another part of the assignment. What was the first assignment that we had given out earlier? Not the reboots one. We had a different one.
I forgot already. I'm like, you're asking the person with the horrible memory to tell you what we talked about 2 hours ago.
I will go back through this. And I will pick out that one. But the other assignment that you guys are going to have is to pick out something that you would like to see have a shared universe. Whether it's, I mean, this is going to be really mainly for like movies or TV shows or cartoons. So pick out something that you would like to have a shared universe and how exactly would it be done. That would be the other part of the assignment. All right. So, and we'll keep it, you know what? We'll keep it simple. Just pick one. Just pick one thing that you would want to have a shared universe for and how you would do it.
Yes, because we already know how 5 turned out.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to.
Well, technically, it works out to be 15 per person, but.
Yeah. So we're going to keep it to 1. That's what we're going to do. But as Kim said, please go to our Facebook page, like it, follow us, make sure your notifications are turned on because when we post something up there, you want to be the first to know. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to Matthew's YouTube channel, subscribe to Harold's YouTube channel. This will be up for listening later on in the week. So if you have any of the following podcast services in the description box, be sure to follow us there. So that way, if you're driving and you want to listen to us, you can. That being said, that pretty much is it. Again, we'll be back in 2 weeks for our next one, and then we're going to have, I think, 2 more after that one. We're going to have 2 more. And I can tell you right now, the very last GeekCast for this year will be just a Q&A session. It's just going to be a live stream Q&A, so you get to ask us any question you want. Okay. I'm your host, Kendrick Grey, the Dreadlock Blerd. I want to thank Kimmy and Katanni as well as Harold for coming through today. I know Matthew was busy with family, so he should be able to join us on the next one. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. I am not ready to go back to work tomorrow, but it is what it is. And so we're just going to get into it. So with that being said, we are out. The council has spoken.
Yep.
Yeah.